You with Matchday on BBC Radio Suffolk, the home of full commentary of every Ipswich Town fixture. It's back to Premier League action for Kieran McKenna's side this afternoon. They're at Villa Park, as are Mick Mills and Brenna Woolley.
14 games to go, 42 points to play for. Most people think Town are probably going to have to double their current tally of 16 points to have a chance of staying up. While this isn't necessarily one of the remaining matches you'd have down as an obvious target to get something from, who knows? While Villa are unbeaten here in 11, recent form seen them pick up just 2 points from the last 9 available, and of course that impressive home run has to end at some point. Ipswich come into this game desperately keen to right the wrongs of their last Premier League fixture, the oh so disappointing defeat to Southampton, and hopefully carry on some momentum from last weekend's FA Cup success just down the M6 at Coventry. So, Mick Mills, how are you rating Ipswich Town's chances today heading into this one?
Well, I think it's a very difficult one to call, I really do. I think Aston Villa are a very good side, but they're not as consistent as you would really want them to be. Not what they were last year. It's difficult, really, because you look at the stats for Villa at home and they score enough goals, they don't concede many, but if you want to be positive about it, they've only actually come onto this pitch and walked off this pitch this season 50% of the times totally satisfied. They've only won 6 out of the 12 appearances here, so if you want to be positive, that's good for Ipswich Town. But it's just when I look at the teams, the lineups, what concerns me most of all is our centre of midfield, and it's almost as if you'll go into the team lineups in a minute, but it's almost as if we're one short in there of a natural sort of defensive player. So I think it's going to be tough, because when I look around this Aston Villa side, it has a lot of excellent individual talent, and that could make all the difference.
Kieran McKenna just warmly embracing Marcus Rashford. It was interesting, just as Mick was chatting, the Ipswich Town manager made a beeline for the Aston Villa bench to clasp hands and hug his former Manchester United colleague. It's a warm embrace, 2 big smiles on their faces. Rashford only on the bench for Aston Villa. And in terms of the Ipswich Town team selection, which Mick has alluded to, it's a watershed moment. For the first time this season in the Premier League, Ipswich Town start a game without one of their League One players. The headline news in terms of the team: minor knocks see Sam Morsey and Leif Davis both drop out from the side that played Southampton a couple of weeks ago. So none of this side played for Ipswich Town when they got promoted from the 3rd tier. Out in total, Morsey, Davis, Murrich and Broadhead, the latter 2 both on the bench. Palmer makes his league debut for Ipswich Town. Connor Townsend makes his full league debut for Ipswich Town, both former West Brom men back in the West Midlands. Phillips is in for his 11th Premier League start, and Ben Johnson gets another outing down the right. So Palmer in goal. Looks like it's going to be a back 3 of Twanzebe back at his former club, O'Shea the captain, and Greaves. Johnson down the right, Townsend down the left, with Phillips and Kayuste reunited in the centre, and then Enciso and Hutchinson will be busy in and around Delap, who got both goals for Town when these two sides played at an entertaining 2-2 draw at Portman Road back in the autumn. On the bench, Murrich, Wolfenden back involved, Taylor Luongo, Hurst on his 26th birthday, Philogene, another one that used to play for Aston Villa in this Town 20, Broadhead, Godfrey, and Jack Clark, who was the star of the show in the Cup a week ago. 2 changes to the side that lost to Wolves last time out in the league. Concert is injured, Bogard drops to the bench. In comes Disasi for his full league debut on loan from Chelsea. He plays at centre-half this afternoon. He played it right back at Portman Road just after Christmas. And Doniel Marlin, an arrival in the January transfer window when Villa were very busy. The Dutchman's come in from Borussia Dortmund. He's part of their front 4. Martinez in goal, a back 4 of Garcia, Kamara, Disasi and Digne. That looks like, for me, a back 4 that Ipswich Town can have a good old go at. Aston Villa's strengths in the other areas of the field. McGinn is the captain alongside Tielemans in midfield. They're a very useful pair at this level, and a very lively front 4. The 3 support players to Ollie Watkins, the central striker, and Marlin, Rogers and Ramsey. On the bench, Olsen and Zich are both goalkeepers. Then you've got Bogard, Matson, Mings back involved after injury, Asensio, Rashford and Jimmo. So just the 8 subs for Aston Villa, 2 of which, as I say, are goalkeepers. There's no Pau Torres, no Leon Bailey, Amadou Onana's missing, Ross Barkley, Ezra Konsa. They have got injury problems at the moment, which might just hinder them getting back into the Champions League places this season. They finished 4th last year, albeit 14 points behind Liverpool, who were 3rd in the table at the end of last season. Villa, though, still live and kicking. They're through to the last 16 of the Champions League. They've got Cardiff to come in the FA Cup, so still a chance of success for Unai Emery's side this season on numerous fronts. The referee this afternoon in his orange shirt is Robert Jones. He does European games this season as well. Well, this one, the rather drizzly wet West Midlands is most definitely in the Premier League. Town kick-off, and immediately get the ball off to our right-hand side, attacking the goal in front of the Holt End, one of the iconic stands in British football, and immediately the flag's gone up for an offside against the Ipswich Town front line, who Town, of course, are playing blue shirts with a white pinstripe, white shorts, blue socks, against the claret and light blue shirts of Villa, claret bodies, light blue sleeves, white shirt, white shorts for them, and light blue socks. Says Kamara, a midfielder by trade, but forced to play centre-half at the moment. Plays the ball across his own penalty area, or tried to. Martinez, in the end, it was like almost a save on his near post. Town players appealed for a back pass.
Well, I think they've got every right to appeal there, because that's all it could have been. He disguised it, but that's all.
Yeah, he's trying to make it look like he was going to cross his 6-yard area, but it went to Martinez on the near post, who saved it, held on to it, but no free kick given. Up towards the halfway line, Watkins, then McGinn, the Scotsman, down to the left-hand side. Rogers, a speed merchant, gets towards it, goes round Palmer, then he goes down. What's the referee going to do here? He's just pointing for a goal kick, but wow, that was a worrying moment there. Palmer came out of his area. Rogers went down just outside the box. The referee has got John McGinn questioning about this. It looked like a big decision. There's very little, if any, contact from Palmer, but Villa were clearly incensed, feeling that maybe Palmer was worthy of a red card.
Well, it was a really good ball that put the player through, but I think the goalkeeper just withdrew his challenge just at the right time, and I don't think he actually touched him. The Villa player was definitely looking to go down as well. I think the referee was well positioned to deal with it, but it was a dangerous moment. Let's not forget that. So we've got to be careful. This is just the first minute of the game, and they've already sort of breached us.
Wow, that was quite some moment for Alex Palmer, but looking back at it, VAR will have looked at that as well. To me, it was a really good bit of goalkeeping. Got his hand on the ball just ahead of Morgan Rogers. He's a very, very good player, but that was a very lively start. Ipswich Town forcing the issue off to our right-hand side. Then Villa's first break looked ominous. 2.5 minutes on the clock. Packed out here at Villa Park. Always a terrific atmosphere here, where Town haven't had a great deal of joy in the past. Just 2 league wins in the last 44 years. Thanks to goals from Gavin Johnson and Emir Hughes. It was nearly 8 years ago now we last saw Ipswich Town win on this ground, during 3 seasons that Villa had in the Championship. There is the number 8 Phillips in an advanced position. Villa get the ball away in front of their backline. It's now Kamara with the gloves on, playing to the left of the other centre-half, Disasi. There is Digne. With everyone fully fit, Digne is probably the only player in this current back four today who would be in the first choice of Unai Emery. You know, Cash, Mings, Konsa, Torres in terms of the defensive line. There is the Argentinian World Cup winner Emi Martinez, again out to Kamara, the Frenchman. His compatriot Digne gets a touch. It's all the way off to our right-hand side at the moment, the ball. Up from Kamara to Watkins, the number 11, won by O'Shea, the Ipswich captain. The loose ball went to Tielemans, the Belgian, out to the right-hand side. It's Garcia, Spaniard, who arrived from Levante in the window. Forward from McGinn. Here is Morgan Rogers. Rogers still has the ball. Scored for Lincoln against Ipswich Town. Also scored in the first meeting this season, Morgan Rogers. Hat-trick here against Celtic a couple of weeks ago. Here is Tielemans. Gives it to Ramsey, the homegrown talent in this part of the world. There is Disasi. To his right-hand side, Garcia in the left-back area outside the Ipswich Town box. Tries to get his cross in, blocked off by Townsend, and it goes for a throw to the home team, 0-0.
Yeah, my little worry about Enciso being taken into sort of extreme defensive areas because of the system that we've decided to play. And he's already there, he's just in touching distance of his own left back.
Here is Disassi. Defeat for his parent club last night. Brighton with a good 3-0 win over Chelsea. This lunchtime, Arsenal scored late to beat Leicester 2-0. Here is Digne in front of the pointing Unai Emery. He's very animated, the Spaniard. What a record he's had down the years. Won 4 Europa Leagues, 5 major championships in France. McGinn to the left. Digne with the ball into the Ipswich Town area, headed up by O'Shea. Old fluff clearance from Johnson. That wasn't good enough on his left boot. It's given Villa the ball 30 yards from the Town goal line. Johnson could have done better there. Villa with the bulk of the possession. Digne pings it off Rodgers, gets it back. Digne to now Tielemans, an FA Cup winner with Leicester. Now a fixture in the Villa engine room. Here he is again, getting it and giving it to Ramsey, up against Tuanzebe. 46 appearances for Villa across 3 spells. Axel Tuanzebe is a youngster on loan from Manchester United. Crowd trying to get behind Aston Villa. Of course, Town trying to end this run of 4 successive league defeats without a win in 5 in the league now. Been on 16 points since the draw at Fulham. Rodgers around the corner to Watkins, who pops it off to the left side, and Digne. Back it goes to Tielemans, who's been getting a few touches. Kieran McKenna standing just to the right of Unai Emery, watching on. Here is Kamara once again, touching the ball, short little ones in front of himself towards the penalty spot. On the right, Garcia. It's a little while since Ipswich Town got a sniff of possession. Disassi to Kamara, on towards Tielemans. Gives it back to Disassi. Disassi up towards Marlon. He measured his pass wrongly. O'Shea stepped in there. Lovely turn from Enciso on halfway. Leaves McGinn for dead. Still Enciso tries to thread it through to Hutchinson. Hutchinson toes it on inside the area. It's Delap who balloons it over the top. Hopefully he knew the flag was going to go up, because that was a very, very good chance, even though it wouldn't have counted.
Yeah, I think he had strayed sort of offside very, very early there, and he knew exactly the fact that he was going to be given offside. It's probably about 3-4 yards offside, funny enough. But that was a good spell of pressure. Possession by Villa. Just trying to look at our shape of the team. We're definitely a back 5, which means we've got 2 holding midfield players in front of that, and you know, the 2 wing backs obviously trying to get down the sides, but we're keeping our shape nicely, but I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Phillips and Kajus today.
Ball forward by Disassi. Rodgers gets away from O'Shea. Always like to watch Morgan Rodgers. He's a lovely player. Puts it in behind for Watkins. Marlon's in the centre. Oh, well blocked off by Townsend. Comes back to Watkins inside the Ipswich Town area. Ollie Watkins! His efforts blocked by Kayuste. That was so important. The Swede was in the way, because that was travelling and set to trouble Palmer.
Well, it was a fabulous attack again. They've got clear down this left-hand side a couple of times now. That was another very dangerous situation. We dealt with it in the end, but you know, it's the initial attack. It's quick, it's sharp. They're getting people clear, particularly down this left-hand side. So, you know, we've got to tighten up. Certainly, you know, Ben Johnson, Dara O'Shea, you know, they're right-sided players, and then sort of maybe Amari Hutchinson can assist a little bit as well. But it's difficult for him. So we just got to make sure that we know what we're doing down this
Arsenal,
right side.
the only away side to have won here in the league this season. That was back in August. 11 league games without defeat on this ground. Oh, mistake far side from Townsend. Marlon opens his leg far side. Everything to his left. Kayuste's gone towards the Dutchman. Marlon wide right outside the Ipswich Town area. Squeezes across him, volleyed away off the left instep of Greaves. Enciso can't do anything with the ball. Garcia takes charge for Aston Villa. 0-0. Gets it back to Disassi, the number 3. He dinks it onto the chest of McGinn. Villa get another chance to build. Yeah, they've beaten Manchester City here this season. Bayern Munich drawn with Juventus. Terrific home record. Disassi short to Garcia. Back to Disassi. I'll tell you that Aston Villa have it at the back. If you're joining us, 9 minutes in on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Town have brought in Johnson, Phillips, Townsend and Palmer. Morsey and Davis both out with minor knocks, hopefully available for Tottenham in a week's time, as Town will be trying to complete their first double of the season. Town's next away game, week on Wednesday at Manchester United. Marlon gets the better of Townsend on the far side, as he has done a couple of times there in quick succession. Here is Kamara finding Ramsey, able to turn on halfway. Goes back again to Kamara over the top from Kamara, trying to get Ramsey in behind. Tuanzebe closed the door, exchanges passes with O'Shea, and then goes back to Palmer in all yellow. Out to O'Shea. O'Shea goes back to Palmer. Palmer this time does the right thing, hits the ball up into the grey sky. Kamara with a header forward. Watkins would have been offside, so showed no interest.
Yeah, they're sharp, they're good, they're showing some good sort of inventiveness in attack, Aston Villa. We sort of seem at the moment very short of numbers down the sides of the pitch, you know, and it's because Amari Hutchinson and Enciso are trying to play as 2 10s behind Delap, and that behind them just leaves Cajuste and Phillips, and then on the wide areas we've just literally sort of got the 2 wing-backs.
Here's Enciso getting the better of McGinn again in midfield, playing it square to Tuanzebe on the halfway line though. He tucks the ball back to Greaves. First time he's had a little bit of time on the ball, and even then it's only a couple of seconds. He's closed down by Rodgers. Greaves can go back to Palmer. Palmer on the edge of his 6-yard area. Back to him from Phillips, then Palmer left-footed drills it out to the far side, chested in field by Marlon. That was a nice play from him. Nice chest pass to McGinn. In goes Tuanzebe on Ramsey. Well done. Hutchinson brings it away for Ipswich Town. What can they do on the counter? Overlapping is Johnson at a rate of knots. Hutchinson slowed things right down. Johnson goes infield to Phillips, to Cajuste. Now back to Greaves inside the centre circle. Town trying to get a little bit of possession inside the Villa half of the field. The latest player on it is the Paraguayan Enciso. Back he goes to Greaves. Now Connor Townsend through a little gap finds Cajuste. Town forced back into their half, but this has been blue ball for 30 seconds or more. Here's Palmer, who would be nice for him to play football outside the West Midlands next weekend. Came from West Brom, made his debut at Coventry, and now his league debut at Aston Villa. He's going to draw on Watkins. Palmer slips the ball forward to Cajuste, lays it off to O'Shea on the right-hand side. O'Shea over the top for Delap. Lovely ball. He's offside again, Delap, sadly.
Yeah, he's got to just try and time his runs better. He makes the right runs. He gets into nice positions, but he's just got to time it a little bit better. He does tend to sort of stray offside quite a lot, really.
Just over 13 years since Town last lost 5 successive league games. Paul Jewell, the manager, but of course not managing in the Premier League at that stage. Kamara goes square to Disasi, back to Martinez. This was a very good goalkeeper, real character as well. I mean, Martinez, the impression I think we all get when we see and hear from him. Headed by Greaves to Enciso, 30 yards out, up against McGinn again, gets the better of him again. Enciso has a go, it's on target, good effort. It was all of 30 yards. He wouldn't beat Martinez from that kind of distance, but it shows his ability and also his confidence, the Paraguayan.
Yeah, he did well to wrestle the ball actually away from the Villa player. He then sort of got a bit of daylight, 2 touches, and then he sort of struck the ball on target. Not bad.
One kick downfield, Marlon's going to go after it, but the conditions, it's a little bit slick, and the pace of the ball, we're always going to get it back to Palmer without any heart flutters. Townsend, left-footed, good long ball down the left side. Off goes Enciso against Garcia. Across comes Disasi, and they gang up 2-on-1 against Enciso. And it's Villa who come away with the yellow ball, which goes back to Martinez. Quickly fed to Kamara, out to the left-hand side. Digne, off an Ipswich Town player for a goal kick to Villa.
Yeah, I think Villa started very, very well. We're starting to sort of come into the game a little bit, you know, but the system is very, very stretched. They've got to have it right, otherwise it's going to cause us problems and not Villa problems. And the problem that I can see at the moment is down the touchlines, where Villa have got 2 fullbacks and 2 wide attackers down there. We've only got a wing-back when we get stretched.
Holt End, the 12th man, is one of the banners. Off to our right-hand side, AVFC. The Obsession is another. 0-0 in our latest full match commentary on BBC Radio Suffolk. Rodgers on the ball, loves to run with it. Cajuste closes him down, but not before he's given it to Marlon. Marlon inside the area. Marlon shoots. Great block from Connor Townsend. Really, really good defending on his full league debut.
Yeah, very, very good play on a 1-to-1 there. But when the ball was being switched from left to right, Villa had that scene that I've mentioned. There's the wide attacker Marlon, and then sort of a completely free fullback in Garcia making a run to sort of support him. The wide attacker didn't need him. but he was there if he wanted him, so that could have been even worse, 2v1 as opposed to 1v1.
We'll have to wait for this corner, the first one of the game, after 14 minutes to be taken, because Julio Enciso is down, requiring a bit of treatment. His body language isn't overly positive at the moment. Incidentally, no Sam Smodix in the Ipswich Town 20 today when he went off. I think it's going to be a change for Ipswich Town. Actually, it's going to be a change for Aston Villa. Tyrone Mings coming on as well, which is fascinating. It's Enciso who's down, but Mings is certainly getting stripped off, so one of the Villa defenders must be struggling. Let's head back to Graham.
A couple of goals elsewhere. So Leicester 0, Arsenal 2 in the lunchtime kick-off. West Ham 0, Brentford 1, a later score from the London Stadium, and Southampton have just gone behind at home to Bournemouth.
That's good news as far as Ipswich Town's rivals at the bottom of the Premier League are concerned. Incidentally, Palmer, the 32nd player that Town have chosen in the Premier League this season. Only Southampton with 33 have selected more. Here's the change for Villa. Not one that Unai Emery would have wished to make so early on in the game, even though he's taken off Kamara, who's really a midfielder filling in, and bringing on a specialist centre-half, but in an ideal world, he didn't want to be playing Tyrone Mings for 75 minutes, but that's what's going to happen. And he brings a bit more height as well to this Aston Villa attack. I think Enciso is going to be fine. He's jogging off, and no sign of a Clark or a Broadhead or anybody getting ready to replace him from the Ipswich bench. So on comes Tyrone Mings, very popular with both sets of fans. All the away supporters won't be overly chuffed with him if he comes on here. Enciso's gone down again. The referee's going to get a bit annoyed. He jogged half the width of the field, Enciso, and then has fallen to the deck before he's reached the near touchline. So Mr. Jones is getting a bit frustrated with him. I can see a blue shirt. Kieran McKenna seems to be next to a blue shirt over on the right-hand side, but I don't think any... yeah, Jack Clark is going to be putting it on. That's it for Enciso. Wow. He has literally lasted 14 minutes of this game. That's a blow, Mick Mills.
Yeah, he's going towards the dressing room and he's limping really, really badly. Yeah, it's a big blow because he had a super debut against Southampton, and that's a great shame. It really is. It was going to be interesting to see him playing today and linking up with Liam Delap again.
He's in tears actually as he goes off. He's really, really upset. Yeah, he is. He's crying in front of us. It's really sad to see. Off he goes. He's been consoled by one of the physios. So double change at the same time. Jack Clark on for Ipswich Town for Julio Enciso. Mings has replaced Kamara. Back to the football. Corner kick to Aston Villa. 17 goalless minutes gone. It's gone short to McGinn. McGinn pings it back to Digne. Digne back to Garcia. And it's out of play off Clark in front of the Ipswich Town supporters.
Well, that was a little bit crazy. They put more in the box than I've seen any team put in the box, apart from maybe in the last 5 minutes of the game. They had 7 outfield players in the box there. They had an arc of 6, Aston Villa, and 1 player on the goalkeeper, and then they decide to go short. How strange.
Crazy. McGinn pulls the ball back to centre field, and Tyrone Mings, he will give it to Disasi. Disasi to the right side in some space. Garcia, the right back, up against Clark. Garcia comes in field, then goes square but straight at Hutchinson. Hutchinson gives it to Clark, so they did make an almighty mess of that first corner. Clark finds Kayuste, who loses the ball under pressure. In there, it's guided back by Garcia via McGinn to Mings. 18 gone live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. 0-0 between the teams that are 9th and 19th in the Premier League table. Digne in field. Oh, Disasi almost robbed by Delap. Poor from Villa. Then it's over the top from Phillips. Delap's gone after it. He's onside, but he won't get there ahead of Garcia. The ball slightly swung in his favour. Then he wants to take on Clark. Clark wins it well for Ipswich. Delap down the left wing. Needs support in the centre. Or does he? Gets into the box left of centre. Still Liam Delap in a crossing area rather than a shooting. Pulls it back to Clark. Clark finds O'Shea. Good opportunity this now for Jack Clark in this game. Phillips lying deep in midfield gives it to O'Shea. The ball still inside the Aston Villa half. Over on the far side, the Ipswich left. Townsend has a chance to cross, and it comes. Looks like a good ball volleyed away by the right instep of Disasi on the near post. Tielemans up towards Watkins. Headed down by Watkins towards Tielemans. Won by Phillips. Then Ipswich have it with Hutchinson out to the right hand side. Johnson Kieran McKenna applauds. Town with a bit of possession inside the Villa half of the field. Kayuste loses it to Watkins. McGinn to Tielemans. Tielemans holds off Kayuste and goes back to Mings, then Disassi. Villa playing it square along the edge of their 18-yard area as the away fans try to get a chant of "Come on Ipswich" going here at Villa Park this cold, wet, miserable February afternoon. Disassi cost £38.5 million from Monaco when he went to Chelsea. Clearly deemed short-term surplus to requirements by Enzo Maresca. They're not in a good run of form at all, incidentally, Chelsea. Johnson loses the ball. Taking him on and beating him is Ramsey. Poor play from Ben Johnson. Ramsey infield to Watkins, dropping off as he likes to do, the Villa attacker. Here is Watkins again, challenged by his England colleague Calvin Phillips. Digne gets it from Mings. Mings just acclimatising himself to this game, really, just settling in alongside Disassi after that change per side. If you're joining us, Enciso's gone off for Town with tears in his eyes as he walked along this near side. Real blow for him and for Ipswich. Forward from Martinez. It will just go away from Watkins and just arrive at the shin pads and gloves of Palmer on the edge of his area.
Yeah, well, I think the game has got to settle down now, and also both sides have got to settle down since the sort of a substitution for both teams, the bit of a delay we had because of it, and it's just that fluency has sort of left the game a little bit.
Phillips goes back towards O'Shea, closed down by Watkins, gets it to Palmer. Palmer first time bangs the ball downfield, controlled by Garcia, who until now had never played outside his native Spain, former Levante player. Relative snip in this day and age at £6 million last month. Tielemans to the centre spot. Rogers loses the ball but gets it back, tries to give it to McGinn. Not a good pass. He's robbed by Clark. Nice to see Clark get a few early touches as O'Shea rolls it back to Alex Palmer. Had that one heart in mouth moment inside the first couple of minutes, Alex Palmer, but for me the referee made the right call. Kayuste hauled down by Rogers. Free kick to Ipswich Town, taken quickly by Kayuste. Phillips wants on it and gets it from O'Shea, just on the edge of the D, outside Palmer's area. Town playing from left to right, almost at the midway point of this first half, live on BBC Radio Suffolk. It's going to see a goal. Delap dropping into midfield, turning away from McGinn. Good play from Delap, then tries to play it through the Aston Villa man. He's having his shirt tugged back, and that will be a free kick to Ipswich Town, 30-odd yards out. Yeah,
they didn't respect Liam Delap again there. He's received the ball very, very tightly marked, but they gamble, and he has, but they forget he's got the ability just to twist and turn and go away from people, and he did it really well there and got his shirt tugged, but they've got to be careful. Liam Delap will take them to the cleaners if they do it again.
Twanzebe just coming across for a word with Kieran McKenna. Calvin Phillips on this free kick for Ipswich Town. Off to our right, they're attacking the Holt end in this first half. We're exactly at the midway point of this first period as well. 0-0 at Villa Park. Free kick to Town, a good 35 yards out. It's the on-loan Manchester City man who's standing, glaring towards the referee. Mr. Jones blows his whistle. Phillips drills it in there, headed up by Clark. Referee's seen something he's unhappy with, and it's a foul. Is it by an Ipswich Town player? No, it's a foul on an Ipswich Town man, I think. Free kick to Town now, a bit closer to the edge of the area, right on the edge of the box, in fact.
Oh, it's a crazy free kick to give away, because I actually felt that the ball wasn't a good ball. It's too low, too flat, and going into too wide a position, you know, so it's a bad free kick, and Villa have given away an unnecessary free kick and a very, very expensive one. Anything can happen from this angle.
It was the two captains. It was McGinn on O'Shea, a little bit, well, very daft really from McGinn. It's going to be a nothing free kick, as Mick was just saying, to defend, but now they could be in trouble. Ipswich have a free kick no more than 20 yards from Martinez's goal line. Town attacking the Holt end, and it's Phillips and Townsend over this one. Villa have got 4 men in the wall, a 5th one lying down behind it. Martinez just doing some organising as Kieran McKenna and Unai Emery pace around their respective technical areas. Robert Jones just about happy. No, not quite. Wants to sort something else out. 24 minutes gone. It's going to be Phillips who hits it, saved by Martinez towards his far post. Easy enough take in the end for the Argentinian.
Yeah, it was an easy take, but it had a little bit of pace on it. Good direction. Not a bad strike.
Tielemans out to the right-hand side of Marlon. Villa trying to find a second wind. In behind is Watkins, wide right, clearly onside. The pullback is towards Marlon, comes out as far as Digne, who gets right underneath it. And the ball ends up in the crowd off to our left. It didn't trouble Palmer.
Yeah, I've seen many fullbacks hit shots like that. He should have really just touched the ball inside to his colleague. You know, that's a bit, you know, you lose your head there, but really trying to strike it from that distance.
0-0 here, Graham.
West Ham 0, Brentford 1, Bournemouth 2 up at Southampton, Man City 2, Newcastle 0, and Fulham ahead at home to Nottingham Forest.
Play Nottingham Forest twice next month. If you didn't see the news yesterday concerning FA Cup time, Monday the 3rd of March, 7:30, full match commentary from the City ground on BBC Radio Suffolk. Alex Matthew will be there alongside me for the second time this season. Town play Forest twice next month now, because Forest come to Portman Road in the middle of the month. Jones coming thick and fast off the back of this, particularly because Town are still in the FA Cup. Almost given away by Villa in the centre of the field. In slides Digne, wins the ball with his studs from Hutchinson. And Villa tidy up back to Martinez. 10 years at Arsenal. Martinez didn't really make the breakthrough, bar a few cup appearances. But has really kicked on in his career since then. Was voted the world's best goalkeeper a couple of years ago when his nation won the World Cup. Marlon against Townsend. Infield from Marlon to Rodgers. Beaten off the ball by Phillips. Well done by Ipswich Town midfielder. Phillips runs square, then gives it to Tuanzebe. Tuanzebe still has it. Back to O'Shea with the armband. Square to Greaves. Greaves forward to Clark. Clark gets away from McGinn. Lovely spin from Clark. Overlapping Townsend. Really good play from Town. In comes the cross towards Hutchinson. Didn't get his feet right. Might come back to him again. Cleared away, not very far. Only as far as Tuanzebe outside the Villa box. Gives it to Phillips. Good spell this from Town. First time they've really looked threatening. Clark with a little header back to O'Shea. He's done well getting into the game, Clark. Now it's with Phillips. Signs of frustration from the home crowd. Phillips of Ipswich out to the left-hand side to Townsend. Good ball. One-touch control, then low into the area it comes. Guided away by a Villa player stationed on the near post. And then it's Kayuste. Nice change of direction. Shakes off Rodgers. Good from Ipswich. Phillips to the right-hand side, growing in confidence. That break in play has favoured Ipswich Town. Villa have lost a bit of momentum. Tuanzebe down the right of the area towards Johnson, who goes down lightly. Loses out to Mings. Mings gives it to Tielemans. Villa on the edge of their area. Tielemans trying to shake off Hutchinson. Gets it through a gap to Rodgers. Chance of a counter-attack for Villa. Rodgers goes down, and the referee is right on the spot and gives Axel Tuanzebe a yellow card. He doesn't believe it, still protesting now.
Yeah, a little bit mean, really. I mean, it was half a decent challenge. I don't think he really got too much wrong here, Tuanzebe. He gets the ball, you know. I don't know what the referee's thinking about. There's a little touch of the ball with his heel.
Yeah, there was.
That's enough to change a referee's mind, surely, you know. But certainly since, you just said, since the delay in the game when the two substitutions were being made, Town have improved and Villa have just sort of gone back a little bit. You know, they're not looking as fluent as they did early in the game.
Free kick in the centre circle to Aston Villa. Still to see a goal in this game. 28 minutes gone here at Villa Park. Marcus Rashford, one of the subs out in front of us. Tielemans with this free kick forward, headed away by O'Shea onto the chest of Phillips. It's been at the heart of a few good things for Town of late. Terrible ball from Johnson. Infield to McGinn. McGinn shields it away from Kayuste. Popped out to the left by Tielemans. Digne up against Johnson. Johnson, their toe pokes the ball over the line. Throw in to Aston Villa down in front of us. And if you want this earlier on, no Davis or Morsey in the Ipswich Town team. First time they've started without a survivor from the League One days this year in the Premier League. There is Ramsey, the number 41, giving it back to Mings. Now with former Hibs player John McGinn, a regular in the Scotland team for a fair old while now. And one of Scotland's leading goal scorers actually of all time at international level, John McGinn's got a really good record for Steve Clarke's side. Marlon loses out in a challenge to Townsend. Clarke with a little touchdown, but Marlon gets it back. Marlon to Tielemans. Tielemans to the right-hand side, and Garcia in a crossing position. Takes a couple of touches, runs infield, edge of the area now inside the Ipswich box. Thinks it towards the far post. Good play by Garcia. Johnson's after it, so too Digne. Johnson slides to poke it away, but no more than 10-15 yards. Villa get it back through Watkins, then McGinn. Digne on the left. In comes his cross, volleyed away by O'Shea. Mings has a bit of time on the halfway line to bring the ball down, approaching the final quarter of an hour of this first half.
Yeah, I think what has actually improved us is that when Enciso was on the pitch, him and Amari Hutchinson were playing well infield, and I think now that Clark's come on the pitch, I think Amari has gone slightly wide. He's not at this present moment, but he has gone slightly wider, and Clark is adopting a more sort of wide position than central position, and that's made us a little bit more sound.
Digne feels that he was obstructed by Ben Johnson. Nothing given though. Johnson has the ball again for Ipswich. He gives it to Twanzebe, back to Johnson, through a gap to Hutchinson. Good play that from Ipswich Town. Really nice little triangle of passes. Hutchinson scampers to halfway, spins away from Tielemans, goes out to the right, and Twanzebe, Town inside the Villa half of the field. Hutchinson pokes it back. Johnson goes square to O'Shea. Just inside the Ipswich half. O'Shea, good ball up to Delap. Delap's layoff wasn't good enough for Hutchinson. An excellent ball from the captain initially. Now it's McGinn out to the right hand side. Marlon, who thankfully can't control it. Tanner got a man down in the centre spot. It might be Dara O'Shea. Took a blow to the head. Referee just wants to check he's all right. Play continues. Throw in far side Townsend of Ipswich. O'Shea goes back to Palmer. Palmer doesn't want to pass it to O'Shea because Watkins just got himself in an area that made it quite tricky and a gamble. Town played out, one touch from Phillips. Kiyuste loses the ball to McGinn. McGinn's furious that he's not allowed to get away with that challenge. Mr. Jones immediately blew his whistle.
Yeah, everybody in the stadium, certainly the Villa supporters, are very frustrated about it. I don't think the referee's having a bad game by any means. I just think they're annoyed that their team have dropped 20% and the away team have picked up their game by about 20%, and it's very, very level now.
Yeah, absolutely. O'Shea, Greaves it is, who goes back to Palmer. Palmer's hurried up by Watkins. Headed in field by Townsend to Delap. Clark back to Townsend. Nice play this for Ipswich Town down the left-hand side. Townsend trying to get Delap in behind. Delap's got on the ball inside the Villa area. Off to our right, still Liam Delap. Gets his shot away, blocked off. It was tame in the end. He was off balance, couldn't get any meat behind it. And that helped Villa no end. But again, really good attacking football from Town.
Very good. You know, they've just got the measure of Villa without question. Villa are finding it very difficult to play it out from the position they're in now with the ball around their penalty area to progress the play. When they finally, if they do get it out to sort of advanced midfield players or wide attacking midfield players, I think from that moment onwards they look pretty good. But it's the transition from the back line to the defensive midfield line that they're finding it difficult.
Mings has the ball at centre half for Aston Villa. Back in field to Martinez centrally, about 10 yards outside his area. He'll go square to Disasi. Nothing between these two sides, 0-0 live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. And nothing in the play either. But now Villa have a chance down the right with Rogers. Rogers in field to McGinn. Shields it away from Phillips. Back it goes to Mings, of course a full England international Mings. Ramsey's ball looking for Watkins, doesn't work out. Town get it back to Palmer. Palmer thought about clearing his lines long and eventually goes left to O'Shea. To stay very calm there. Flick on by Clark. Light drizzle in the air here at Villa Park. 12 minutes to see a first half goal, although there will be a decent amount of added on time for the injury break to Enciso, when both sides made a change. Clark and Mings coming on. Kamara, the player who went off for Aston Villa. Villa throw the ball back to Disasi. Mings on the centre spot. Incidentally, Wolves not in action today. They're away at Liverpool tomorrow afternoon. Could be an entertaining game, but hopefully after the Plymouth and Everton results, Liverpool fully up for that one and do Ipswich Town a favour. Leicester have already lost, Southampton losing. Ball down the middle for Villa. Watkins goal side. Watkins lifted over the top of Palmer and wide. What a chance that was for Aston Villa.
That's when they're very threatening, when they haven't really very much build up at all, and then they try that ball that's sort of pretty much threaded right through the town back line, and that's a great chance. And for me, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't lift the ball over the goalkeeper. He doesn't actually slide it past the goalkeeper. He seems to stab it into the ground, and it goes harmlessly wide of the far post. But that's been Villa at their best, with a pass of about 40 yards, putting one of the attacking players away. That's their best part of their game so far.
Jack Clark in the left back area, turning away from Marlon, playing it off of him towards Kayuste, won by McGinn, but he was sliding, so couldn't get onto the ball as much as he would have liked. Kayuste goes back to Palmer, 0-0. Forward from Twanzebe, who runs into Ramsey. No afters though, and I thought there might have been for a second. Hutchinson to Kayuste, poor ball from Hutchinson. McGinn and Rogers were able to take it off Ipswich Town in midfield. There is Tyrone Mings finding Axel Disasi, and then they go back to Martinez. 34 out of the last 37 seasons Aston Villa have spent in the top flight of English football, as Martinez clears down the middle, looking for Marlon, chested down by Townsend. Well done, got the better of Marlon there. It's a good battle between those two. Now Johnson, he needs to do something to kind of boost his confidence. Johnson turning away from Ramsey, playing it forward through the legs of Ramsey to Hutchinson. Hutchinson taken down late by Tielemans. Free kick on halfway.
Yeah, no question, we've got a better shape now that Hutchinson, he's only sort of moved, say, 15 yards to his right-hand side. Clark has come on and is more of a left-sided player than somebody who wants to be very, very central behind the lone striker. So what it's done is balanced us much better and give us a little bit more strength down the sides, and consequently, you know, we've closed this game down, and Villa really, apart from the long ball that puts them clear through, haven't looked that threatening.
No. 36 minutes gone in the overcast West Midlands. Free kick on halfway for Ipswich Town. Pinged diagonally to the far side by Phillips. Headed down by Townsend. Cleared away by Villa. Phillips is going to challenge for this. So too Johnson. Phillips gets it on his chest after Johnson took out Watkins, which was a challenge the referee deemed to be unfair.
Yeah, I didn't really quite agree with the referee there. I thought that was, you know, 2 or 3 people going for a sort of high ball that's come out of the sky, and, you know, nothing wrong with it.
At the back, it's Disasi to the right-hand side. Garcia on halfway. Now McGinn, surely held back by Delap. And that's going to be a free kick to Aston Villa. And they're talking to for Delap now. More fouls than any other striker in the division committed by Liam Delap. He was on 49 ahead of this game. Not a massive surprise on those 8 yellow cards as well. So well, he needs a couple more to serve a 2-game ban, Delap. Ball forward for Villa, controlled by Rogers. Came at him at pace, he did very well. Uses the overlapping Garcia as a decoy. Rogers comes in field to Tielemans outside the area, buys some space. He can score from here, but thankfully on this occasion it loops over Palmer's bar.
Yeah, that's good play again, but that's sort of the slightly more direct Aston Villa. The first pass is very, very direct. It's covering a lot of distance, but then if they get control of that one, then they do look a threat. Once they get within the 40-yard marker to Palmer's goal, then they do look threatening. On that occasion, that was exactly the same, you know. But I think we do really well against them when it's sort of further up the pitch.
Town playing it out from the back. Townsend trying to find Clark. Clark, who got his legs in the muddle, sees the ball roll off one of them and go out on the far side. Sorry, it was Delap actually, far side. Clark's now got goal side of him. Miscontrol from Liam Delap. No great damage done. Villa have had to go all the way back to the halfway line. This really is one of the great grounds of English football, Villa Park. Of course, used to stage FA Cup semi-finals here. Townsend sharply in on his man far side. Still feeling the effects of that challenge, Rogers. Ipswich there, go back to their first line of defence. Palmer's got the ball on the edge of his 6-yard area. Little drag back against Watkins. Calmness personified there from the former England youth goalkeeper. O'Shea comes forward, dinks the ball to the centre spot. Won by Disasi. McGinn goes back to Mings. They're swiftly passed on first time to Ramsey. Johnson's having a little nibble at him, pulling onto his shirt. Ramsey stays on the ball. Plays it to Garcia. With Disasi, final 6 minutes of normal time at the end of this first half. Next Saturday, full match commentary of Tottenham's visit to Portman Road, and then we're at Old Trafford a week on Wednesday. Given away by Digne. Twanzebe turns, faces his own half, goes to halfway. Now the referee blows his whistle and awards the original free kick after Town had no sight of an advantage. Jordan Philogene out warming up on this near side, back at his former club, desperate to make an impact in the second half, maybe even get his first league goal for his new club. That will have helped him getting off the mark at Coventry last season. Townsend's done well to find Clark. Clark attempted the first-time ball, didn't work out, then headed away by Phillips. Doing some good work in midfield, Phillips. Here come Villa. Ramsey getting away from Twanzebe, pulled down. Oh, Twanzebe could be in trouble. This could be a red card. This could easily be a second yellow card. Axel Twanzebe's going to go. He's gone. Town are going to play 50 minutes with 10 men. That was inevitable when he made that challenge. He gave the referee a very, very easy decision to make.
Yeah, it was easy for the referee, no question about that. As soon as there was a drop of the left shoulder, then the Villa player goes to his right-hand side, and he absolutely took his marker. He was going clear. He was like possibly just going to enter the box maybe to take a shot, and then that was it. He had to go because he's brought the player down from behind.
What should he have just let the player go in that situation? On a yellow card, he's got to, hasn't he?
We had a player coming across, but maybe would not have got there. I don't think would have blocked the shot, so it would have been a free shot, dead centre from sort of 18 yards. Do you allow somebody to do that? It's such a split moment. Yeah. I don't think you can think, should I or shouldn't I? You just try and get the ball. If you fail to do it, then it's going to be costly.
So he will not play against Tottenham next week for me. Undoubted 100% second yellow card. Kieran McKenna's looking on his iPad off to our right, but when we hear from him post-match, I can't see him quibbling too much about that one. After all of that, Aston Villa have a free kick 19 yards from goal in a central area, and they have numerous players with enough talent to convert this opportunity. What can the Ipswich Town wall and Alex Palmer do about this dead ball situation? 3.5 minutes to go until half-time. Town down to 10 men. And of course they've already had to make a change because the injury to Enciso. A few things have gone against Town in this first half, but so far not the scoreline. It might do in the next 30 seconds though. Free kick to Villa, 19 yards from goal. Off to our left-hand side. Tielemans is there, Digne is there. McGinn might fancy running on to this one. The referee's happy. McGinn is going to strike it low. The wall did its job. Still 0-0. Out as far as Garcia to the right-hand side, and Marlon. Poor free kick. Now a chance for the cross to come in from Rogers. Rogers puts a good-looking ball headed out behind by Cayuste. All hands and heads on deck for Ipswich Town.
Yeah, good block, very good block. We came and sort of squashed the play because they tried to work 3 touches of the ball really before the shot came in. That was too much, and we managed to get the block in.
So I guess at least it's a simple one. Town go to a back 4. Johnson at right back, Townsend left. It's O'Shea and Greaves in the middle. So no need for Kieran McKenna to make any change. It's a corner kick to Aston Villa. Only the second for either side in this game. They've had both of them. Tielemans, his left palm's in the air, that's the signal. It's a right-footed in-swinger, headed on by Mings and away by O'Shea. And as far as Garcia, he's hit it well, blocked by Greaves on the penalty spot. Wouldn't have troubled Palmer given the pace of it, even if the former Hull man hadn't been in the way, but he did his job well. Now the home crowd sensing blood before half-time. Town a man light. McGinn with a switch to the far side, looking for Marlon. Town's 3rd red card of the season. And unlike the Calvin Phillips one against Leicester, can't see there being any complaints about that one. Here is Tielemans, disguised ball around the corner to Ramsey. Ramsey edge of the area into the box to Watkins. Watkins controls it by the byline, pulls it back. Could be a chance for Rogers. He scoops it over the bar from 6 yards, but it's come off a Town defender. And it's out of play for another corner to Villa.
Well, Villa worked the ball brilliantly, but we defended the situation brilliantly, particularly in the end.
Villa play the corner kick short. McGinn goes back to Tielemans. Tielemans closed down by Phillips, takes him on, gets the byline under pressure. He puts his cross over the roof of the net. And Town now, short term, just trying to cling on to this clean sheet till half-time.
Yeah, and I think that once the game sort of settles down, you'll be able to see the system that we will adopt, and it's no question we'll probably go to a back four with Ben Johnson dropping back to definitely a right back position, and Amari Hutchinson will come to the right, Clark could go to the left, and we'll end up playing with a 4-4-1, sorry.
Well, it's going to take some effort for Ipswich Town to end this losing streak of 4 in a row. Let's see if they can, though. Palmer puffs out his cheeks, comes forward and takes this goal kick for Ipswich Town under the lights at Villa Park. Up rises Phillips, beaten by Tielemans. 2 number 8s in direct competition. Phillips loses out to McGinn, rather sold himself. McGinn's carried the ball forward a few yards, given it to Ramsey, who's burst into life in the latter stages of this half. Digne on the left wing, quite a CV. He's got Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain, Roma, and of course Everton before he was here. Digne on the left-hand side. In comes his cross, headed away by O'Shea, back to Digne at the start of the added-on 4 minutes. Digne's cross headed down by Phillips, and it's another corner kick to Aston Villa.
Yeah, they're seizing on the opportunity just to see if they can sort of finish this half really strongly. They're enjoying the game now that Town are down to 10 men.
Corner kick to Villa, their third in the last few minutes. It's going to be Tielemans to take it, and it comes 0-0 deep to the far post, headed away by O'Shea. Good work from him at as far as Garcia, who gets a chance to recycle and get the ball into the box. Infield he comes, left-footed. In comes his cross, headed away by Phillips, out as far as Digne. All 9 blue shirts were back in Palmer's area there, and they're all in and around it now, trying to hold on till half-time. Tielemans shaped across, didn't they? Gave it back to Digne in front of us, the Villa left. Villa toying with Ipswich Town. Now to Ramsey. Ramsey gives it to Rodgers. Little back heel from Rodgers, almost went through to Ramsey. Booted high into the cloudy sky and away from Hutchinson. Awkward bounce for Disasi to deal with. Delap goes up against him. McGinn picks up the pieces. 90 seconds into the added-on 4 minutes. Villa desperately trying to make a breakthrough before half-time. Ramsey really is seeing a lot of the ball at the moment. He goes back to Tielemans, sauntering forward with it. Tielemans still has it. Garcia wants it square of him. The ball arrives at the right foot of the Spaniard. Now Marlon, bald-headed player, far side, gives it back to Disasi. On to Tielemans. Tielemans dinks it into the box, headed away by Townsend. Only as far as Delap. Delap does like Hutchinson did a few moments ago, just happy to belt it with venom away off to our right, controlled by Martinez. Attack versus defence here. I think we're going to have to get set for another 40-odd minutes of this as well, perhaps. Tielemans to Digne. Great chance, of course, this for Aston Villa if we flip the coin and see things from their perspective. To rack up 12 games unbeaten here. Disasi. Town tight, compact. Disasi tries to go through them, he can't. Jack Clark runs away with the ball for Ipswich Town. Checks infield, gets the better of McGinn, then plays it forward but away from Delap. It's going to be slim pickings for Ipswich Town in terms of attacks and potential attacks as we go on, one would have thought. At the moment it's a nice game for Mings to return to, really. Mings a sub coming on for Villa. Here is Tielemans. Tielemans out to the right-hand side, and Garcia, perfectly weighted ball. Garcia wide right outside the Ipswich area, wants to take on Townsend. In comes his cross to the far post, headed up by Ramsey. The ball's still alive, and then Marlon's going to go after it, and it's away from Townsend, the latest Ipswich Town player to just kick it high and long from left to right. Villa again with McGinn. All the possession is theirs, as you would expect. Pinged around Ramsey to Tielemans and back. Tielemans now to the left-hand side behind Digne. Hutchinson gets on it. Digne toe pokes it back to Tielemans before Hutchinson could really get a hold of the ball. Mings drifting forward for Villa, threading a ball into the box to Watkins, on towards Rodgers. Good challenge from O'Shea, headed away by Greaves, just as Rodgers looked like an almighty threat. Delap goes to the ground in a lot of pain. At as far as Mings. Delap has stayed down. Play continues. Town have got 9 men active out there. Delap's up on his feet, hobbling on. Mings stops very sportingly. Now Villa can go again. Delap's really limping. He's in a lot of pain, but I think he's going to be okay. Digne to Tielemans. 0-0, all Villa. Town a man down. Phillips closes down Tielemans, not quickly enough. Now Rodgers trying to pull the strings. He'll feel he can have a big impact on the second half. So to Unai Emery. That's it for half-time. Town did manage to hold out with 10 men, but of course we are only at the halfway stage. It's going to be a long, hard slog this second period at Villa Park, but at least at the midway stage, Mick Mills, it's 0-0 and plenty to talk about there.
Yeah, I think that the circumstances sort of changed the pattern of the play twice in that half. I think the Villa started pretty well and looked pretty useful with sort of quick attacks. When they sort of tried to play slow out from the back to build slowly, I thought they weren't particularly very good at it, and we stifled them. But when they came out really quickly, they were very incisive, and they managed to just get into one or two very good positions early on, and then all of a sudden we had the break. And the break was because there was a possible injury to Kamara and a possible injury to Enciso for Town. So whilst those two players were sort of talking to the sidelines and then ultimately coming off and substitutions being made, the whole situation died a death. And when the game started to sort of build up again, it was funny enough Town who looked the better outfits of the two. You know, Villa had sort of dropped off maybe 20% from what they were. We had sort of picked our game up 20% and were now probably just shading it. And, you know, it looked as if, you know, Villa were going to have a difficult day and going to find it difficult to even have a real shot at our goal, you know, whereas we were sort of feeling pretty good about ourselves. But then all of a sudden, you know, the sending off came with Zabi making a tackle that probably he had to make, you know, on the edge of the box. It meant that he got his second yellow card, and the red card came out, and off he went. And from that moment onwards, the game changed for the second time in that half, and that changed against Town. Town all of a sudden had to sort of just pack their defence. They very rarely saw the ball in the opposition half from that moment till the half-time whistle, and it looked as if it was going to be at any time an opening goal for Aston Villa. It wasn't to be. There was some really sort of valiant defending by Town, so the spirit is there. Whether we can sort of last another 45, you know, 10 against 11, I don't know, and Villa will be attacking, you know, the Holt end, their favourite end, so, you know, they'll have a bit of momentum going. We're going to have to really concentrate hard. We're going to stick together and try and see it out, and just sort of, you know, be happy to play very much on the break. But it was an unusual half. It had sort of pockets of one side being in charge of the game to where another side was in charge of the game, and then the sending off changed the whole thing.
What do you think Kieran McKenna will be saying to them in terms of their approach and their game plan? What will he be wanting from Hutchinson and Clark and Delap in terms of their defensive duties, but also being available to hit on the counter-attack if needs be? What kind of things will he be getting across?
Well, there's only one system we can play when you have this situation, and it's 4-4-1, so we'll go to that. We've got the players to do it without question. We've got enough defenders on the pitch to make a back four without looking at the bench. We've got a natural sort of four across the pitch to be in the midfield. Clark likes the left touchline, Amari likes the right touchline, and they will be told to tuck in as much as possible. That will be where I think that the manager will focus his attention, to make sure that the midfield four, instead of the back four playing tight as a unit, the midfield four have got to play tight as a unit. Otherwise, Villa will come through that central area. They're good going down the sides, Villa, but they're not so good, or they weren't so good going down the centre. Now they might be able to. So it's important those two nip in and assist Caduce and Phillips as much as possible. Then Liam Delap, he'll probably know that he'll probably keep him on for about 15-20 minutes, and then Hurst to come on to see if he can do a valiant job up front. But it's going to be tough, Brenner.
Yeah, it is going to be very tough. Whatever happens, they're all on BBC Radio Suffolk. But at the halfway stage here at Villa Park, 10-man Ipswich Town are holding on 0-0 against Aston Villa.
Elsewhere in the Premier League, Arsenal cutting the gap to leaders Liverpool to 4 points after a 2-0 win at Leicester in the lunchtime kickoff. Half-time at Craven Cottage, Chris Wood, who else? course, levelling for Nottingham Forest at Fulham. It's 1-1 there. A hat-trick from recent edition Omar Mamouche for Manchester City. They're comfortable at home to Newcastle this afternoon, 3-0 in that one. Bournemouth are 2-up at Southampton. Brentford lead 1-0 away at West Ham in the Championship. Third in the table, Burnley drawing 0-0 at Preston in one of the lunchtime kickoffs. Norwich trailing 1-0 at Hull. Cambridge United beaten 1-0 at home by Exeter in League One's lunchtime kickoff today. It's half-time in Carlisle, where Colchester are 0-0 in the League Two fixture. In the National League North, Needham Market going well this afternoon. 2-0 up at home to Oxford City. Goals from Iffy Allen and Jacob Lay. We'll check in on Leiston, Lowestoft and Felixstowe and Walton United when we return in just a moment.
On BBC iPlayer.
I want you gone.
Get your hands off me!
There's nothing left for you here apart from people who hate you. Phil, you're all right, aren't you? Just get out!
She doesn't want you here, Reece! I hate you! If I ever see that man again, I'm going to kill him.
We got to get out of here. Now!
An explosive 40th anniversary. EastEnders, next week on BBC iPlayer.
Couple of minutes before 4 o'clock, here with Matchday on BBC Radio Suffolk. Aston Villa 0, Ipswich Town 0. Half-time in our main feature. Town down to 10 men. Axel Tuanzebe shown 2 yellow cards. He's off. We'll be back with Brenna Woolley and Mick Mills for the second half shortly. Let's go around the grounds locally. I mentioned Needham Market leading Oxford City by 2-0. The home side also 2-up in Leiston. Stephen Foster.
Yes, Graham, a pretty good first half here for the Blues. Leiston 2, Sporting 0. And this Leiston side have been clinical and have grown in confidence as the half has gone on. Leading scorer Jamal Loza opened the scoring after 18 minutes, cutting inside from the right to unleash a left-foot shot, which Sporting keeper Chapman could only wave at as the ball whistled past him. That was Loza's 22nd of the campaign. Then 20 minutes later, the Leiston hotshot thumped a long-range effort against the post. It flashed against the face of the goal, and George Quantrill was first to it to stab home Leiston's second and put a bit of daylight between these two teams. Spalding have had a few moments, but not many, certainly nothing to trouble Billy Johnson back in the Leiston goal. The Blues are particularly dangerous on the counter-attack. I wouldn't bet against more Leiston goals in the second half. Their tails are up, providing the home faithful with a warm glow, much needed on this bitterly cold afternoon. Half-time score again, Leiston 2, Spalding United 0.
Thank you, Foz. Yeah, Leiston on course to make it 6 wins from an unbeaten last 7 in the Southern Premier League Central Division, going really well in the last few weeks or so. Goalless at AFC Sudbury this afternoon. They're 0-0 with Bedford Town. Also goalless at Lowestoft Town, Gary Button.
Yes, half-time, Lowestoft Town 0, Hitchin Town 0, goalless at the interval in this big battle at the bottom of the table. Visitors Hitchin, for a good part of this first half, on top and looking very composed in possession, full of confidence despite their lowly position. As early as the 3rd minute, Rio Deal with a shot from 20 yards, Ellis Craven in the Lowestoft goal, turning the ball over the bar for a corner, while the Trawler boys replied with a move of their own. Charlie Norman down the right, found Sayer in the middle, but his shot went straight at Brian Okonkwo, the Hitchin keeper. Sayer and Rangel saw their efforts blocked before a quick breakaway found Hitchin's Lewis Franklin, and his teasing centre couldn't find the head of Deal in the area. Lowestoft were giving the ball away cheaply, with Bradley Smith hitting the ball over for Hitcham, and then Harry Titchmarsh shot over too. As the flakes of snow came down, the final quarter of the half evened up, with Lowestoft busy around their visitors' goal. Sayer with a good chance, just over the bar on 34 minutes, with Sam Johnson shooting wide with another good opportunity. Right on half-time, Rio Deal threw on goal, but denied by Ellis Craven, who blocked. Half-time, it's Lowestoft Town 0, Hitchin Town 0.
Thank you, Gary. Into the Isthmian North Division, where the leaders are going well this afternoon. Nick Garnham?
Yes, it's Felixstowe Walton United 2, Tilbury 0. And goals by skipper Billy Holland, which was Felixstowe's 100th in all competitions this season, and Charlie Warren have given the Seasiders a deserved 2-0 lead at the break. The opening goal in the 7th minute came after Holland had a shot deflected wide for a corner on the right, which was taken by Josh Hitter and reached Holland beyond the far post, where his header back across goal was adjudged by the referee's assistant to have crossed the line, despite it being cleared by a defender. Rob Harvey then shot into the side netting at the near post from Tom Warren's left wing cross. And Sam Ford and Geordie Matthews combined to free Harvey, but his touch was too heavy as he tried to go round the keeper. Goalkeeper George Marsh had to then get down to his right to tip away Ford's drive as the Seasiders piled on the pressure. The second goal that Felixstowe's dominance deserved arrived in the 43rd minute, and a lovely goal it was too. Left back Tom Warren floated across over to the far post, where brother Charlie out-jumped the defender to head back across goal and into the opposite corner of the net. Tilbury's only real chance of note so far came soon after the Seasiders' opening goal, when Alex Hernandez poked wide from a good position after a catalogue of errors in the home defence. Half-time at the Martello ground is Felixstowe and Walton United 2, Tilbury 0.
Thank you, Nick. So the Lismore North leaders are ahead 2-0. Likewise, second in the table, Bury Town are ahead 2-0 on the road at Whittam Town this afternoon. Goals in the first half for Cole Hughes' side, scored by Dylan Williams and Luke Brown. Mildenhall Town are 0-0 with Walthamstow. Ipswich Wanderers, bottom of the table, also goalless on the road at Haringey Borough this afternoon. Newmarket Town's fixture at Basildon United called off earlier today. The pitch deemed unplayable, so no fixture for the Jockeys. A couple of note from the Thurlow Non-League this afternoon. The Premier Division, title-chasing Brantham Athletic goalless with Sheringham. Walsh and the Willows 1-0 down away at Dereham this afternoon. In the League Challenge Cup, Woodbridge Town trail Harlow Town 2-0 at half-time. Full second-half commentary on the way from Villa Park. Ipswich Town up against it this afternoon, but they're still level with the Champions League side.
Lovely turn from Enciso on halfway. Leaves McGinn for dead. Still Enciso tries to thread it through to Hutchinson. Hutchinson toes it on inside the area. It's Delap who balloons it over the top. Hopefully he knew the flag was going to go up, because that was a very, very good chance, even though it wouldn't have counted. And Rogers gets away from O'Shea. Always like to watch Morgan Rogers. He's a lovely player. Puts it in behind for Watkins. Marlin's in the centre. Oh, well blocked off by Townsend. Comes back to Watkins inside the Ipswich Town area. Ollie Watkins! His effort's blocked by Kayuste. That was so important. The Swede was in the way, because that was travelling and set to trouble Palmer. Headed by Greaves to Enciso, 30 yards out. Up against McGinn again. Gets the better of him again. Enciso has a go. It's on target. Good effort. It was all of 30 yards. He wouldn't beat Martinez from that kind of distance, but it shows his ability and also his confidence, the Paraguayan. Free kick to Town now, a bit closer to the edge of the area, right on the edge of the box, in fact. Phillips, who hits it, saved by Martinez towards his far post. Easy enough take in the end for the Argentinian. Ball down the middle for Villa. Watkins goal side. Watkins lifted over the top of Palmer and wide. What a chance that was for Aston Villa. Here come Villa. Ramsey getting away from Twanzebe, pulled down. Oh, Twanzebe could be in trouble. This could be a red card. This could easily be a second yellow card. Axel Twanzebe's going to go. He's gone. Town are going to play 50 minutes with 10 men. That was inevitable when he made that challenge. He gave the referee a very, very easy decision to make. Tielemans, disguised ball around the corner to Ramsey. Ramsey, edge of the area, into the box to Watkins. Watkins controls it by the byline, pulls it back. Maybe a chance for Rogers. He scoops it over the bar from 6 yards, but it's come off a Town defender.
Wayne Babin at breakfast.
The US president has spoken to Vladimir Putin about ending the war in Ukraine. Helen Fomenko is Ukrainian. When you speak to family friends in Ukraine, what are they saying?
I've spoken to my mother and she is absolutely against it. I teach Spanish.
How do you say Wayne Babin at breakfast is the best breakfast show on the radio?
Wayne Babin es el mejor programa en la mañana.
I think I've got a better job than you.
I think you might have, although I don't think so.
I am helping 215 residents get their homes back.
Wayne Babin at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6.
BBC Radio Suffolk.
A reminder, Mick Mills will be taking your calls at full time off the back of our main feature from Villa Park. The number to speak to him is 0800 141 2121. You can text and WhatsApp us as usual. Text number is 81333. WhatsApp is 08000 321 333. Just a recap on today in the Premier League so far. Arsenal 2-0 winners away at Leicester in the lunchtime kickoff. Fulham and Nottingham Forest are level at 1-1. An Omar Mamouche hat-trick for Manchester City. They lead Newcastle United by 3-0. Bournemouth 2 up at Southampton. It's West Ham 0, Brentford 1. But no goals as of yet in our main feature. There has sadly been a red card for Ipswich Town, though. Any changes off the back of that? Let's rejoin Mick Mills and first Brenner Woolley at Villa Park.
Funny old afternoon for Jack Clarke, who came on and has now been taken off through no fault of his own. Off goes Clarke at half-time, having replaced Enciso in that first half, and Luke Wolfenden is on. So Town look like they're going to be keeping that back three with the wing-backs. A couple of changes for Villa as well. Marcus Rashford is coming on for Jacob Ramsey, and the other alteration is Ian Martson, who is coming on for Digne. So Villa going for it at the start of this second half. 10-man Ipswich Town. Palmer in goal. It'll be Wolfenden, O'Shea, Greaves, Johnson and Townsend, the wide players. Then it's Phillips, Kayuste, Hutchinson and Delap. 10 men for Town. Twanzebe sent off. On the bench, Murrich, Taylor, Luongo, Hurst, Philogene, Broadhead, Godfrey. As play is underway in the second half. I'll give you the Aston Villa team when we get a break and play. But yeah, Marcus Rashford is on for them. Scored after a couple of minutes at Portman Road for Manchester United, and Ruben Amorim's first game in charge. See what he can do for his loan club here. Mings, the first change that Villa made in that first half, plays the ball out to the left-hand side. Martson, very good replacement for Digne at left back. Reached the Champions League final with Borussia Dortmund last season. Ian Martson played against Town in the past for Burnley during a successful loan spell when they went up. Town, incidentally, in blue, white, blue, defending the whole 10 stand. Villa, as they prefer to do in the second half, attacking it off to our right. They're in their claret and blue shirts with white shorts and light blue socks. This is live full match commentary on BBC Radio Suffolk. Can Ipswich Town hold out and get what would be a hugely impressive point from this game? Rodgers to the right hand side, Marlon up against Townsend on his first league start for the club. Marlon, edge of the area, gives it to Tielemans. Tielemans ill-measured that ball. It's out behind, so it's Martinez in goal for Villa. Then they've got Garcia, Disasi, Mings, and now Martson, and then McGinn, Tielemans, Marlon, Rodgers, Rashford, and Watkins on the bench for the home side. Olsen, Zich, both goalkeepers, Bogard, Asensio, and Jimmo. Alex Palmer carefully putting the ball down on the edge of his technical area, off to our right-hand side, hoping upon hope to keep his first clean sheet for his new club. He clears the ball to halfway, comfortably headed forward by Disasi. Townsend wins the header. What do you make of the half-time change for Town then, Mick Mills? Look, Wolfenden coming on, we didn't see that. No,
he's definitely chosen to go to a back three, then four across the midfield, which includes your two wing-backs, Kajust and Phillips, and then it leaves Amari Hutchinson to try and sort of assist things up front. You know, it's a tall order, whatever you do, but it's basically a 3 or a 5 at the back if you want, you know. But he's decided to go very defensively.
Town's argument post-match from Kieran McKenna, I'm sure, will be, in terms of the red card, will be at the first yellow. It was very soft, and he's got a point on that. But then challenge from Twanzebe gave the referee no choice. Or maybe here's Rashford just getting into the Ipswich area, trying to take all comers on all comers. Johnson got it away to Hutchinson. Town still have it in the right back area before Hutchinson plays it off the Dutchman Martson, and out it goes for a throw to Ipswich Town. Villa trying to win for the first time in 4 league games. Had a couple of draws and a defeat recently, and of course they didn't do Ipswich Town any favours last time out in the league when Wolves beat them by 2-0. That was a particularly bad afternoon for Ipswich, losing to Southampton and then Wolves winning later on in the day. Villa get the ball back. They're going to have so much possession, so much of it off to our right-hand side in this second half. We've just got to be ready for it and hope that Ipswich Town can do their jobs defensively. Martson pings it off Rashford. Martson gets it back infield, edge of the area, helped on by Rodgers to McGinn. Now Marlon inside the Ipswich area. He comes infield, Marlon. Cheataway not very far by the Blues. Rashford inside the Ipswich area. Shoots, saved by Palmer. Off to his left-hand side. Marlon tight to the touchline, off to the dead ball line, should I say. Marlon tries to squeeze his cross in, but Townsend closed his legs in time, and Ipswich get it away. Post-match, of course, we'll hear from Kieran McKenna and hopefully an Ipswich Town player before off air at 6. Your thoughts very welcome as well. 0800 141 2121. Foul challenge by Phillips, stomping into Tielemans. Yeah, 0800 141 2121, or you can text 81333, start those messages. SFK WhatsApp 08000 321 333, again prefix those with SFK. Garcia beat himself there as he was trying to take on Townsend. Kiyuste takes it away, not very far, but does get it back off a Villa player. McGinn wins it inside the Ipswich Town area, right of centre. John McGinn pulls it back, blocked off by Kiyuste. Cleared away by Greaves, not very well. Poor clearance from Greaves. In comes the cross, headed up by Greaves. It's gone across his own penalty area. Nodded away by Johnson, brought down by Maatsen. Right-footed, tries to pick his spot. Don't know how many goals he scored if he's right foot from 30 yards, but he wasn't that far away with that one, but far enough.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad effort, and we just had a really good effort from Rashford just earlier on, but they've got to really move the ball very, very quickly, Aston Villa, to do anything really, because Town are going to just try and play absolutely compact, keep shuffling from left to right, and sort of plenty of depth to their defensive lineup as well, but it's going to be tough.
Well, the draw at Fulham for Ipswich Town felt like a defeat. If this is a draw, it'll feel like a win here this afternoon. Martinez chases out of his area, gets his head on the ball before Delap. Ipswich Town have got the ball inside the Aston Villa half of the field. It's almost like a light mist has descended upon Villa Park. Back-to-back trips for this part of the world for Ipswich Town. Home next week against Tottenham. There's a tangle off the ball between Rodgers and Phillips. The referee wants a word with the pair of them. Just tell them to calm it down. Play continues. Ben Johnson has the ball above his head on the far side of the field. 6 minutes gone in the second half. Well done, Liam Delap. That's terrific play. Obviously there's nobody to hit in the centre, so he didn't play it in. It's going to be so hard, well, for all of these Town players in the second half, particularly Hutchinson and Delap, when the ball comes into the final third, to do a great deal with it. Town can just see how long they can frustrate Aston Villa and maybe hit them on the break, on which the thousands of Town fans behind the throw-in far side, which Maatsen's taking. It's come off a Villa man, now an Ipswich Town throw.
Yeah, this is good. I mean, if they just do this type of thing, try and sort of just relieve the sort of defending that they're going to have to do right the way through the half, is just try and keep the ball in the Aston Villa. They've won themselves a corner as well.
Kick. First corner kick for Ipswich Town. 7 minutes gone. This has got to be a chance. An opportunity for Ipswich Town. Haven't scored enough goals from corner kicks so far this season. The obvious standout recently was, of course, Enciso into Greaves at Anfield. We're not going to see a repeat of that now. There's no Enciso on the field, but Greaves is in there, along with Delap, Wolfenden, O'Shea. Plenty height, Kiyuste 6 foot plus. Corner kick to Ipswich Town in the 8th minute of the second half, and it comes towards Wolfenden, headed away by Watkins. If he hadn't got on it, Wolfenden was going to head towards goal. There's every chance of him scoring as well. Garcia on a run against Greaves. Garcia's just kept the ball in. He's done ever so well, the right back. Up the halfway line to McGinn. Garcia's gone down off the ball in a challenge with Greaves. Still on the deck. Play continues. It's 10 against 10. Rashford to Watkins. Watkins back to Rashford. Rashford inside the area. Goes square, and it's prodded wide on the near post by Rodgers. The referee's blown his whistle. He wants to sort something out. Wants a word with Greaves for his challenge on Garcia. Yellow card for Jacob Greaves.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether this challenge down here, there was a lot of shirt pulling going on, but I don't think that the end of the challenge was a bad one. I think the Villa player was just sort of, wanting a little bit of sympathy really, but that was a really good player game by Rashford. He started really well. He's 2 contributions, and they've all been sort of top class really.
Yeah, they have been. I was just thinking that he's already showed his class, and he is such a good player. Marcus Rashford, 426 appearances for Manchester United. I know they're struggling at the moment, but you're not a bad player if you've played over 400 times for Manchester United, and at the very highest level as well. 138 goals as well. Obviously went through their academy. Here is Garcia, looking quite lively early in this second half, 9 minutes of which have been played on BBC Radio Suffolk. Garcia to Rodgers, blocked off well by Phillips. Good work from him. There is Kiyuste. Kiyuste carries the ball towards Kieran McKenna near side. Still just kept it in play, and eventually off of Marlon. Good work there from the 2 Town midfielders, Phillips and then Kiyuste.
Yeah, very good work, and that's what they've got to do right the way through. You know, I'm not surprised. You know, you just mentioned that Garcia's sort of in the game a lot. Well, their two fullbacks are going to be, because they have pretty much got free rolls.
Liam Delap directly in front of us, running forward. Garcia challenges him. The ball goes out. Delap's won a throw-in for Town outside the Aston Villa penalty area. Pulling up his socks over his tiny shin pads. Liam Delap, good to hear from him earlier on match day. It'll be good to hear from you on the Blue Hour, Monday night between 6 and 7, talking all things Ipswich Town. You can email me, brenner@bbc.co.uk. It's good to have you with me on a Monday night. And we'll start the build-up to the Tottenham game. Graham will have the matchday preview with Walkie on Friday between 6 and 7. Kayuste with this throw into the Villa area. O'Shea, the captain, attempted the back header. Wolfenden brings it down for Kayuste. Kayuste goes back to Johnson. Johnson with a high diagonal up to the right-hand side. Excellent ball from Johnson. Nice control from Hutchinson. Hutchinson one-on-one with Matson. Takes him on. In comes his ball towards Delap. 1-0 Ipswich! The 10 men of Ipswich take the lead at Villa Park. And it's Liam Delap with his third goal of the season against Aston Villa. Off go the Town players to celebrate with the away fans, who are going nuts in the far corner. It's Aston Villa 0, 10-man Ipswich Town 1.
That's a brilliant goal, it really is. It's a fabulous cross-field ball. It had exactly the right distance on it, the pace on it. It goes straight to Omari Hutchinson, and they showed Omari no respect at all, left him 1v1, and Omari just said thanks very much. He just got a little bit of daylight down the outside, enough to get his right-footed cross in, and as soon as the cross got through, you thought Delap's got a chance here. He's going directly at the ball, and a little touch with the inside of his foot, and he's just transferred it into the bottom corner of the net. Terrific play by three of the Town players. What a goal with only 10 men. Lovely finish.
Really nice finish from Delap. And he loves these kind of conditions as well. The underdogs battling, he's up for it, mentally and physically. Really sweet finish. The assist from Hutchinson, the goal from Delap. Aston Villa trailing at Villa Park to Ipswich Town with their 10 men. Long old way to go though. Martin, in goes Hutchinson. Good closing down from him. But wow, the Town fans loved that moment.
Yeah, it gives us something to have really sort of fight for. You know, I was really sort of beginning to think, well, the best part of the defending is when it's 0-0. If we give Villa one, it'd be really difficult. Well, we're the team that's got one.
They've got to score 2 now, Aston Villa. It's a very, very bad afternoon for them. Here is McGinn for Villa to the right-hand side. They've shown their hand to an extent with the subs already. Asensio's still on the bench, of course, but there's no Leon Bailey. Got most of their attacking talent out there. Hutchinson closes down Tielemans. Tielemans wriggles away from the former Chelsea man. Matson hits it. Oh, good save from Palmer. Better than good. That was excellent off to his right-hand side, because goodness me, Matson put everything behind that.
Yeah, they worked the ball really nicely, Villa, and they've got themselves a little bit of daylight. Great shot, and well done, Palmer. Terrific save. Nice, strong hand.
Corner kick to Aston Villa. 13 minutes gone in the second half. Villa Park has responded positively, trying to get Villa back into this game. And it comes from Rashford, headed away by Phillips, brought down neatly by Garcia. He does look a player now. Wide right, it's Rodgers taking on Ben Johnson, who's come across the left back area. Back the ball goes to number 16. In comes Garcia's cross to the far post, touched down by Palmer. Might be an opportunity for Villa inside the box. Then Palmer got a bit lucky in the end. It was Mings who tried to prod it goalwards, but it was going wide. Palmer prevented it going out for a goal kick off the floor.
Yeah, really deep cross, and it was a difficult one, because do you sort of just try and palm this for a corner kick, or do you try and keep it in play? A very difficult ball to deal with.
Well, if this is win number 4, and there's a long old way to go, I'm not counting a single chicken. This would blow Tottenham, Wolves and Chelsea out of the water for me. This would be a season highlight, whatever happens between now and the end, because this is a Champions League side Ipswich Town are playing against, with only 10 men on the field, and at the moment they're ahead. Great atmosphere. A lot of the noise being created by the tractor boys and girls, it has to be said. They're loving life directly opposite. Maatsen, he's had a few shots towards goal. Out to the left-hand side, gives it to Rashford. He's bound to be in massive danger. Infield to Tielemans. On the left-hand side, Maatsen, shaped to cross, still has it. Infield from Maatsen. More of an attacking fullback than Digne Maatsen. Possibly the reason for that half-time change. Rashford, low ball into the box, all the way through to Palmer, who'll then drop on it. He's having a good league debut.
Yeah, this is a good league debut for him as well, and this is a good position that Town have got themselves in, you know, because this really does sort of give us something to work for. We know it's going to be tough, but you're 1-0 in front, and it really gives you a feel for things, and it makes it, every decision that Villa make, much more difficult.
Phillips over the top towards Hutchinson. Hutchinson barges Maatsen to the ground. The Ipswich fans right in front of us. And just in front of Hutchinson, far side, less than impressed by that decision. That's double figures for his Premier League debut season, Liam Delap. Terrific tally for a lad, 21, just turned 22, never played at this level before. On 10 goals with, after this, another 13 games to go, starting with a visit of Tottenham next weekend. Mings to Maatsen. Far side, Rashford with the gloves on. Rashford over the top, looking for Watkins. Of course, they've played together for England in the past. Watkins against Wolfenden. Wolfenden's gone out there. Had a little nibble at Watkins. Watkins in field to Tielemans. Back goes Phillips. He's doing well in midfield, Phillips. Up against Tielemans. Ball goes back to Maatsen. All the noise from the away fans. Their team lead 1-0. Marlon, edge of the Ipswich area, rolls it short to Rodgers. Rodgers comes in field, goes down. Foul by Phillips, says the referee. Free kick to Villa. In a good position. It really is a good position.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether he needed to give that free kick away, because he's really going nowhere. He's actually starting to go away from the goals, and it wasn't necessary for Phillips to make the challenge.
Marco Asensio coming on, just won 3 La Ligas, 3 Champions League and 4 World Cups in his time at Real Madrid. He's on loan from Paris Saint-Germain, so that's not a bad CV that he's got, the Spaniard. Will he be coming on though? Well, then it's 1-0 Ipswich, all 1-1 here at Villa Park. Free kick to Villa, no more than 19 yards from goal, just to the right of the D as we look at things. Rashford's there, Maatsen's there, certainly Maatsen's side off his left boot. Watkins also has entered the conversation. Rodgers walks away though, one less contender. Town lead 1-0 at Villa Park. The home side though, in the Champions League this season, has a free kick just outside Palmer's penalty area. Rashford, Maatsen and Tielemans all fancy this one. Take your pick. Rashford might be the one. Judging by the body language at the moment, the referee seems happy. It's Tielemans who dinks it towards the far stick, headed away well by Cajuste. There was a Villa man flying in there. Cajuste then pokes it beyond McGinn. He's off on a run far side. Maatsen goes to ground. Town did well.
That was brilliant play. Great interception when the cross came in. The free kick was clipped to the back post. That was good defending, and then to actually have the energy and the desire to go and carry the ball all the way to that right touchdown.
Marlon is going off for Villa. On will come Asensio. Number 21, one of the many January arrivals. They were as active as anybody in the last window. Aston Villa. Town lead 1-0. Liam Delap's 10th goal of the season. What a player he is. What a signing he was in the summer. It's O'Shea with this throw. Is he going to be captaining Ipswich Town to their best league win for many a year? Headed away to the halfway line. Town have it with Phillips. Mings to Tielemans on this right-hand side. Garcia wants it and gets it. He's making inroads down the Ipswich left. Still has the ball, Garcia, just chops in field, holds on to it, gives it to the right-hand side, and Rodgers goes back to McGinn. Unai Emery, the more animated of the two managers, as Ben Godfrey jogs back to the bench. Cajuste slips. Villa trying to capitalise. Asensio just on as a sub on the right corner of the Ipswich area. Still the Spaniard. McGinn now goes out to the right-hand side and Garcia bends the ball into the Ipswich area, controlled by Asensio, and he fires it into the near post area, where Alex Palmer is well positioned.
Yeah, it was patient play by Villa, but we were sort of good in defence. We were very sort of comfortable, and we sort of forced them into areas that they didn't particularly want to go, and then they're getting a bit of a desperate ball across the face of Town's goal, straight into sort of Palmer's hands.
Palmer with this kick towards Liam Delap, who's just poured some water over his eye. Must be an obstruction in one of his eyes that he seems to be toiling with at the moment. Linked with Manchester United in the week, Liam Delap, and the rumours are just going to build over the course of the next few months. Whatever division Ipswich Town find themselves in at the end of this season as to his future. Of course, if he carries on at this rate, Thomas Tuchel's first England squad isn't that far away. It's got to be in the thoughts of the German. Martson on the left-hand side gives it to Rashford, flicks it over the top of the challenge of Hutchinson. Hutchinson's still got enough left in the tank to close down. Sensibly, though, just at the moment, holding his position. Villa have it with Tielemans. All 9 blue shirts behind the ball, all doing their job. They're going to be shattered after this, but doing a good job at the moment. Martson for Villa, shaped to cross into the Ipswich area, didn't. Plays it to Rashford. He's a big concern, Rashford. To the left-hand side, Martson for Villa, to Rashford. They play a 1-2. Martson with a deep cross towards the far post, all the way to the outskirts of the area, and brought down by Garcia. Now it's with Asensio. Asensio knocks it to the far stick. Rashford goes in there, appeals for a penalty kick. Not given at the moment. Rashford felt that he was shoved. We're a long way away from that penalty area. It's going to be interesting to see if this one goes to VAR. The referee has his hand to his right ear, where he can listen in to instructions from elsewhere. He's now talking into the microphone in front of his mouth. Not from that angle, it wasn't.
No.
On Marcus Rashford as
Can't see that being given at all.
Beautiful dive.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a goal kick to Palmer. Yep, absolutely spot on. Well defended, Ipswich Town.
Yeah, absolutely miles away. Take his name.
21 minutes played in this second half. Hurst and Broadhead warming up in the near side for Ipswich Town, who lead at Aston Villa. Axel Tuanzebe sent off in the first half. Remember, there's no Morsey, there was no Davis today. I see that Sam is here. He's walking along the touchline with his customary cup of coffee at half-time, and they've taken the lead through a terrific finish from Liam Delap after good work from Amari Hutchinson. Garcia, who continues to see a lot of the ball on this near side, the flying right wing back. Disassi, is he going to lose twice to Ipswich Town this season? Martson to Rashford, being booed by a few Town fans. He'll be the darling of Villa if he can get them level in this game. Tielemans square towards Disassi. On the right hand side now is Garcia. Infield to Disassi again. Villa going from one side of the pitch to the other. Rashford centrally, prods it to Watkins. Rashford's brought down by Phillips, who I thought was getting close to a yellow card just for persistent fouling.
Yeah, Rashford is heavily involved in this game, so he's really one that we've got to keep very, very quiet.
He seems to have forgotten all about the warm greeting and the cuddle that Kieran gave him at 5-3. He's now trying to hurt his old mate from Old Trafford, and he's a big concern. So Phillips and Greaves both given yellow cards in terms of the players out there. Tuanzebe's red, if you weren't with us, was for 2 separate yellows in the first half. The first one, very dubious. The second one, couldn't have any complaints. And the referee is taking back the Ipswich Town wall. Town really are at the moment running towards adversity here at Villa Park. Rashford fancies this free kick. Asensio is there as well. It's a good 30 yards out, this set piece in front of the Holt end. Town lead 1-0 in the drizzle. Referee's blown his whistle. It's going to be Rashford or Asensio. Rashford hits it up. Oh, off the bar! It's followed up and in. It's Ollie Watkins, who was Johnny on the spot to poach and put it beyond a stricken Palmer. And it's now Aston Villa 1, Ipswich Town 1. Rashford had a huge hand in that goal.
Well, it was a fabulous free kick, no doubt, and I think it was a terrific save. It was difficult to see it completely, but the follow-up is it's actually hit the crossbar. Might have been a touch by the goalkeeper, but it's sharp play from Watkins. I mean, he's a real quality striker, he really is. I mean, that's a good bit of play by him.
Yeah, I don't think Palmer did get a touch. It was a really good free kick from Marcus Rashford against the crossbar. Like Mick just said, he was razor sharp Watkins. So like Liam Delap, he scored in both of these fixtures this season. 21 minutes to go in this game. Delap still battling. McGinn, left-footed, far ball to the far side. Watkins is going after it. We did fear that Rashford was going to have an impact. We just kind of both hinted at that moments before that free kick. As O'Shea gets the ball back to Palmer. Palmer finds Greaves to Phillips out to the left-hand side. Townsend, well played Ipswich Town. Townsend up to halfway and Delap trying to take on Disasi. He goes down. Garcia comes away with the ball. Rogers infield to Asensio. On the right for Villa is Garcia. Left-footed into the centre from him. Well headed away by Wolfenden. Corner kick to Aston Villa, their first of the half.
Yeah, they've really sort of got themselves going, and it's been mainly through Rashford for me. Since he's come on at half-time, he's had about 4 excellent contributions to the game.
Corner kick to Aston Villa. Trying to take the lead for the first time in this game. Gives it to Rashford. Rashford has the ball. Waited too long and it comes off Hutchinson. Another corner kick to Aston Villa. Well, at Portman Road, both sides led and both sides were pegged back. So it's following potentially a similar format this game. Villa play the corner kick short. Garcia to Rashford. Garcia outside the town now. Great challenge from Hutchinson. Villa win it back though. Asensio left-footed into the middle, headed towards goal, saved by Palmer. Really good save. The flick header was from Morgan Rogers.
Well, this is good stuff, and just sort of chuckling there when Amari Hutchinson, that's his second really sort of...
Villa play the corner kick short. Garcia comes in field and has a go. He's right underneath that, loops into the crowd.
Yeah, that's a little bit of I think something we tend to do a lot. You know, we allow the opposition to take a short corner, you know, and I think short corners are, if they're done correctly, are really threatening, you know, so I don't know why we allow that to happen.
Delap's been called across for a word from Mark Hudson, one of the Ipswich Town coaches, as Jack Taylor and Luonga go out to warm up, maybe feeling the extra fresh legs required in midfield. Kieran McKenna, which is understandable really, as Palmer clears right-footed. Nothing he could do about that goal. Ball goes out far side for a throw to Aston Villa. Wow, what a final 20-odd minutes we have to go in this game. 27 on the clock in this second half. Disasi gets to halfway, live on BBC Radio Suffolk. 1-1 between these two sides that drew 2-2 at Portman Road, and on that occasion Town looked the better side towards the end and looked the more likely to get a 5th goal in that game if it had come. But no mean feat if Town can take a couple of points off Villa home and away this season. But wow, with just 10 men out there, remember, no Axel Tuanzebe sent off in the first half. It's quite a rearguard action in prospect for Town. Throw from O'Shea. Delap touches it against Maatsen, hoping it would come off of him for a throw closer to halfway. Here is Garcia, really enjoying his football in the second half in particular. Gives it square to McGinn. Now in the centre spot, Disasi. Tielemans to McGinn. Villa prowling down the right-hand side. Garcia coming in field, trying to slot the ball up towards Watkins, the goal scorer. Back to goal, edge of the area. Watkins holds it up. Gives it to Morgan Rogers. McGinn back to Rogers once again. Blocked off well by Kayuste. Good work from him, but Villa get it back. McGinn to Tielemans, bang in the centre of the Ipswich Town half, guides the ball out to the left-hand side, and Rashford has Maatsen overlapping. Maatsen just inside the area, pulls it back, maybe a chance for Tielemans, and it's over the bar. Asensio from 12 yards out, his head's in his hands. He knows that he should have done a lot better.
Yeah, it was good working of the ball.
Palmer's gone down. Wow, hopefully this is just a bit of time wasting, but Alex Palmer is on the deck. Luonga's certainly coming on for Ipswich Town. Taylor's also now trying to catch the eye of Kieran McKenna. Might just be a tactical injury. Hopefully
I'm
nothing
not sure
more.
Because in that action he didn't sort of hurt himself. He was actually sort of waiting for the ball to come in. He looked all right on his feet. I was watching him all the time. He didn't appear as if he sort of went over on an ankle or anything. I think maybe this is maybe from a time before and he's just decided I'll just have a little massage. I think that might just be the answer.
29 minutes played in the second half. Town players, the Warriors in blue, just come across for a drinks break and a few words of encouragement. Obviously the former West Brom man not getting an awful lot of sympathy. Referee just checking his watch. There are 16 minutes to go in this game as we watch Marcus Rashford's fabulous free kick, which led to Watkins tapping in. Reacted very quickly, just guided it in off his left instep, Watkins. Former Exeter and Brentford player. Talking of Exeter, his former club almost lined up an FA Cup tie against Ipswich Town in the week, taking Nottingham Forest all the way to penalties. That must give Ipswich Town some heart ahead of that game at the City Ground on the 3rd of March. Both teams trying to reach the quarter-finals of the FA Cup that night. Villa have the ball with Palmer back up on his feet, so let's go back to Graham. It's in a defensive area.
You mentioned Forest, Brenner, behind again at Fulham, 2-1 now. Southampton have got one back against Bournemouth, but still trail 2-1.
And it's 1-1 here at Villa Park. Delap and Watkins, two men trying to fill the shoes long-term of Harry Kane. Thomas Tuchel's here this afternoon to have a look at those two. Get a bonus look at Tyrone Mings, but sadly no Leif Davis. McGinn shifts the ball to Rodgers, another player that's been in England's squads. Sensio had that chance a few moments ago. Sensio to Rodgers. Rodgers tries to flick it on. Wolfenden's clearance hits Greaves, comes back to Palmer, and then he drops on the ball. There's no way the referee was going to see that as being a back pass.
Yeah, that was a difficult one.
Kieran McKenna's thoughts to come before 6 o'clock, and also hopefully those of an Ipswich Town player, as Lee Grant is just talking to the fourth official, Darren Bond. The VAR, incidentally, is Michael Oliver, who was in charge of that controversial Merseyside derby on Wednesday night. Here is Disassi receiving the ball from Mings. Disassi down the middle, looking for the run of Watkins, headed down by O'Shea. Flag's gone up against Villa. Wolfenden tidies up back to Alex Palmer. Unai Emery's blown a gasket about something about his own players, not the offside decision, but the Spaniard most hot under the collar. Well, will this be a 10th away point for Ipswich Town this season? 9 of their 16 heading into this game had come from their travels, and of course it's 2 away wins compared to just the solitary success against Chelsea at Portman Road. Palmer. This would be a phenomenal away point, this, though, if they can hang on here.
Cool, will it?
Absolutely. Garcia.
Actually, right to this point, we've done really well,
totally well,
without question. You know, whatever is going to happen from this moment onwards, you know, you will have to take it. But they've been terrific, really.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. They have done so well. Now having played for so long, more than half an hour with 10 men. Rodgers, he's still a concern out there. Tielemans forward to Rashford, trying to get away from Phillips. Rashford, edge of the area. Villa, good player. Sensio shoots, saved by Palmer. Off to his right side. He's had a good game as Alex Palmer on his league debut.
Yeah, he's done very well. I was watching him very closely because we're sort of up this end of the pitch. I was watching him in the warm-up, and I remember just thinking, looks very sharp, good shot stopper, and he's just proved that with that save there.
Rashford with this corner kick for Villa. Sadly, he's had a big impact in this half. Villa with a corner kick, 1-1, and it comes from Marcus Rashford, headed on and away by Phillips out to the left-hand side. Wolfenden will get there ahead of Disassi. Tries to play it off the Frenchman, gets it to halfway. Garcia brings it down, in goes Hutchinson. Out goes the ball for an Ipswich Town throw. Kieran McKenna appealed and got his way.
The two managers both disagree with each other. It's great, really, you know, but the appeal from Kieran was the right one. Emery was really, how he thought he could see something else, I don't know.
Afterwards, have a chat with Mick Mills, 0800 141 2121, or text 81333, start those messages SFK. Also start your WhatsApps with SFK at 08000 321 333. If you want to join me on the Blue Hour on Monday between 6 and 7 on BBC Radio Suffolk, email brenner@bbc.co.uk, BRENNER@bbc.co.uk. Asensio to Rashford on the left. Infield he finds Martson. 3 of the subs linking up. Rashford's got the ball again up against Johnson. Overlapping is Martson. Tries to play a ball into the box for Martson. It's the first thing he's done wrong, Rashford, since he's come on. Double change for Town. Hurst is coming on for Delap. And Luongo is coming into the Ipswich Town midfield.
Yeah, and I just feel at the moment that maybe that surge that Villa had when they got the equalising goal, that's sort of just stagnating a little bit, you know, and we're sort of just beginning to get a little bit of control of the game.
Let's see which one of the two Luongo is going to be coming on for. Still got something off in the Premier League. It's good to see Massimo Luongo get minutes at this level. Such a good character who's been such a terrific signing for Ipswich Town the last couple of seasons. But still coming on and showing he can handle Premier League football. So Kayuste is off. It's Phillips and Luongo from now on in. Well, comes Hurst on his 26th birthday today, George Hurst. Nice to speak to him after he got his goal at Coventry last week. On comes Luongo. We are 1-1 at Villa Park. 10 minutes to go. Obviously a far better scoreline for Ipswich Town than Aston Villa at the moment. But of course Town have lost games late on this season. The ball in field to McGinn, to the out. McGinn to the right. Garcia running forward, challenging Townsend. Townsend stopped, held him up. Garcia still has the ball. It's been a good battle between these two. Garcia gets away from Townsend, gets the ball off of Townsend, his attempted cross. And it's corner kick number 4 in the second half to Unai Emery's side.
Townsend's had a pretty good game.
Yep.
You know, it's not easy to come in for Leif Davis, who's been solid at left back and one of our better players, and Townsend not getting much action, but performed very well.
Corner kick to Aston Villa. It's Asensio on it, gives it short to Rashford. Rashford's cross into the middle. The effort from number 11, Watkins, doesn't really go anywhere. Villa still have it on the byline. It's pinged off of Townsend for another corner to Villa. Delap's finally coming back towards the dugout, the long way around. Corner kick taken short by Villa. Rashford to Asensio. Martson touches it back to Garcia. On the right-hand side, it's Rashford outside the Ipswich Town area. Tries to play it through the legs of Phillips. Gets it through the legs of Phillips. Back to Asensio. Asensio shoots, blocked. Goes for a penalty kick. Was never going to be the case. That was curled into the far corner.
Yes,
Palmer would have been beaten there, but there was a blue shirt in the way, and it's only a corner.
Yeah, just got his back in the way, I think, there. That was just nice. You know, it was sort of arm height and just turned his back on it. Made sure that the ricochet came off the middle of the back.
Corner kick to Villa. This one's pulled back too far for Martson to strike. Now he's got onto the ball. Still can't have a go. He's given it back out to the left-hand side. Rashford. It's horrible when he's on the ball. Rashford comes in field, shoots, blocked away superbly by Phillips. He's had a good game, Calvin Phillips, in there for Ipswich Town. Ball around the corner from Martson. The layoff from Rashford. Finds Rodgers. Back towards Garcia. Aston Villa trying to take the lead for the first time in this game. All 9 blue shirts behind the ball, keeping their shape and discipline. Tielemans goes down rather spectacularly. He's on the side of free kick. As that Kieran McKenna shows his frustration.
Hard work for Kieran.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I have to say Villa Park has been complimentary earlier on about what a great ground this is, and probably the friendliest ground as well that we found on arrival in the Premier League so far. Everyone is ever so helpful. That would be nice if they just let us leave with a point, please. Asensio and Tielemans over this free kick outside the Ipswich Town area. It's not in a shooting position, it's too wide, maybe about 6 yards from the corner of the box. It's going to be Tielemans who scoops it in dangerously, headed away by Phillips. The volley from Rashford's off target. Well, the half volley, should I say, from Rashford.
That was interesting, really. I was watching that there and I thought, well, I wouldn't really bother to cross this ball. I'd go 2v1 against Amari Hutchinson inside the penalty area, but they so often just do things that, you know, they're told to do almost. You know, I think two sort of players that maybe have got their own sort of thoughts on the game would have seen that. The nearest blue shirt to Amari was about 12 yards away.
6.5 minutes to go, live on BBC Radio Suffolk. 1-1. Delap and Watkins with the goals. There is McGinn riding the challenge of Luongo. Garcia yet again. He's covered some ground and seen a lot of the ball in this second half. Forced to check just inside the Ipswich Town half. On the centre spot is Tielemans. What a good signing he was on a free from Leicester City. Maatsen to Rashford over on the far side. That giant two-tier stand. Rashford again on the ball from Tielemans. Now Maatsen comes in field, starting his career actually at Chelsea. Maatsen had numerous loan spells. Disasi, current Chelsea player, on loan here, to Garcia. Infield from Disasi. Mings in the centre circle. From Villa's perspective and their fans, 1-1 isn't good enough. They've got to kick on, they'll be feeling, to beat the 10 men of a side in the relegation zone. Villa to the right-hand side. Garcia to Asensio. Round the corner to McGinn. McGinn does likewise. It favoured Wolfenden rather than Tielemans. Wolfenden didn't take any prisoners with that clearance.
Kieran wants to throw in again.
Asensio on challenge from the throw-in. Hurst now closes down McGinn. McGinn square, and now out to the far side. Rashford, the left of Aston Villa. Rashford can't get away from a couple of players and stretches a leg. Now wants to beat Johnson. Johnson's done well to regroup, gets it to O'Shea. Hurst trying to get involved for the first time, can't, because Mings has controlled that ball. On the left-hand side, Maatsen crosses into the Ipswich Town area. O'Shea's header's a good one, had to get something on it. Townsend completed the clearance, high into the sky and out off to our right-hand side. 4.5 minutes of normal time to go. It's a corner to Villa again, actually. 6 in the second half. Villa corner in front of that big screen. Asensio stands up. The Villa is the message. In it to the middle it goes. Palmer punches it away. He did enough. Good goalkeeping. Kept in by Wolfenden, the half-time sub. Hurst's on a gallop. Wolfenden looks for him. Not the worst ball in the world, but Mings was able to head it down. Able to watch it all the way. And now Mings has had a good 75-minute or 70-minute workout at this stage. Finds Garcia. Rodgers, can Ipswich Town do it? I'd do it. I mean, hold on for a point. A most unlikely point at half-time. Disasi. Before that defeat to Wolves, Villa had gone 19 games without a defeat to a side in the bottom three. Mings to Rodgers, out to the left-hand side, inside the Ipswich area. Maatsen on the overlap is Rodgers. Maatsen finds him just inside the Town penalty area. Now outside it, Maatsen has it in the right back berth. Ball round the corner, shot from Rodgers, blocked again, this time by O'Shea. Hurst with a touch, but it's Villa who pick up the pieces. Garcia to the right-hand side. Rashford low into the middle across the face of goal. Eventually controlled the pullback, but then cleared away by Johnson. Somehow it's still 1-1.
I think there's an offside there, is there?
Yeah, flag's up now. Ipswich Town have a free kick at the back.
Yeah, they're having to play right the way round the town. They're playing from left to right to left, Villa in a massive arc, but it's all in front of, you know, all that masses of blue-shirted players. They're doing really well as a collective unit. They work across the pitch and up and down, and, you know, a lot of work, a lot of running.
Well, I've got Liverpool here this coming Wednesday. That was meant to be Carabao Cup final weekend, but of course Liverpool involved in that, so that fixture's been pulled forward. I believe Villa wanted it actually later on in the season. Garcia on this right-hand side, just crossing halfway. 2.5 minutes of the 90 to go. Ben Godfrey's gone for a warm-up and a little jog. Disasi into midfield to McGinn. Town players and fans would celebrate like this like a victory if they can manage it. Rashford waits for the ball to arrive, quickly passes it forward. Town stands strong. Villa get it back. Tielemans trying to dink it forward. Town block him off. Hurst's on the ball for Ipswich Town, runs it up to the halfway line. He's got no support, just needs to hold on to it as long as he possibly can. He's done well, Hurst. He's done terrifically well, still has it, then gives it back to Hutchinson. Excellent play that from Hurst. Phillips, wasted by Phillips. Town get it back though. Hurst's on the ball. Hutchinson wants it on the right-hand side. Town couldn't go on and win this game, could they? Hutchinson outside the Villa area, right of centre. Hurst's the only target in the middle, plays it off Maatsen. Town have won a throw-in.
Brilliant play by Hurst. Just sort of kept the ball, brought his team up the pitch, and then in the end we get Amari Hutchinson in a position where he created the first goal, for Liam Delap. So that's good play between the pair of them.
Taylor's taken off his tracksuit bottoms, gone for a jog in front of us, so maybe former Peter Roman is about to come on for Ipswich Town. Ben Johnson has a throw for Ipswich Town outside the Villa penalty area. Be a massive confidence boost for Ipswich Town if they can get something from this game. A minute of the 90 to go. It's 1-1. Town have played the whole of the second half against the Champions League side who finished 4th last year away from home with 10 men. It's going to be fascinating to see what the board says when it comes out. Disasi ambles up to the halfway line, gives it to McGinn. He's been a great servant to this club. John McGinn back in field to Disasi. Kieran McKenna's thoughts to come. Yours welcome. 0800 141 2121 81333. SFK at the start of your texts. Morgan Rogers to the right. The board is being primed. Garcia comes in field, still has it, gives it back to John McGinn. Now with Mings on the left-hand side, Martson. Everybody back for Ipswich Town. Rashford can't control it. Johnson gets it away. Frustration for Unai Emery. Now Mings to the left and Martson running towards the Ipswich Town area. 4 minutes of added on time. Could have been worse than that. I'll take 4 minutes.
Yeah, I would as well.
Martson trying to get away from Johnson. Chipped the ball off of Johnson at a play for a corner kick to Aston Villa. They're 11th of this game. We are 30 seconds in to the added on 4 minutes. Lots of Villa fans departing. They've given up on seeing a winning goal. They might have to turn around though, because their side has a corner kick in front of the Holt end. Town have got all 10 players in the penalty area off to our right hand side. It will be a kick that's taken by Marcus Rashford. All eyes on the penalty area off to our right, and it comes from Rashford, headed away well by Greaves, brought down by Asensio outside the area. No room for a shot just yet. Turns, hits it, blocked away, appeals for a penalty, not given. Hutchinson loses the ball. Asensio, a chance inside the area. Rodgers, and it's out behind again. Another corner kick to Aston Villa. Fascinating watch this, but heart-stopping at the same time. Rashford, who takes a mean corner kick on this set piece in the second minute of the added on 4. Again, all eyes on the box off to our right. Deep to the far post, too deep. That'll do nicely. Well done, Marcus.
That'll do lovely.
Goal kick to Alex Palmer.
That's worth 60 seconds.
Yeah, that'll do nicely. Nobody in a rush. Fingers crossed. Fingers, toes, everything crossed that Ipswich Town can hold on and do this. This will be very much a bonus point for Ipswich Town. TV cameras on Kieran McKenna, aging by the second. Town are going to make that change. I think it's Taylor coming on. Gets a pat on the back from Ben Godfrey. Kicked forward by the goalkeeper, Palmer. I wonder if Godfrey might start next week because Twanzebe's banned. Long downfield from Phillips. Hurst's going to go after the ball. Martinez comes towards it and just gets there ahead of him. Out it goes. Oh, not the. Yeah, I thought he sold him a bit short with a throw and allowed Hurst to get on it, but Garcia got there. 90 seconds left. Villa will be desperate to get the ball away off to our right-hand side at the moment. It's only halfway with McGinn. Seem to look down at my stopwatch every couple of seconds, really. 1-1. Mings to Rashford. Rashford, takes Johnson to the cleaners. Lovely play from Rashford. Rashford into the area. Brilliant run. What a run from Rashford! Saved by Palmer. Miraculous goalkeeping in the end, but my goodness me, that was slick, that was fast, that was quality from Rashford. He's had a great game, Palmer, though.
Well, yes, fabulous play from Rashford, but well done, the goalkeeper, Palmer. Unbelievable.
He's done very, very well.
Yes.
Wow, that was electrifying from Rashford. We're into the 4th minute of added on time. Rashford with this corner kick for Aston Villa, headed away by Phillips. As far as Disasi, there is Garcia. Taylor waits to come on. Godfrey's coming on as well. 30 seconds to go of this Premier League game. Can Ipswich Town do it? Ball knocked into the box by Tielemans towards the far post, headed away by O'Shea. So many good performances out there for Ipswich Town. Villa win it back. It's Rogers, little ball short, blocked off by Ipswich Town. The fans from Suffolk are whistling. The main man, Mr. Jones, hasn't yet. Surely a final throw of the dice for Villa. Final 20 seconds. Rashford inside the Ipswich Town area goes square. Oh, great block again by an Ipswich Town man. Again, that was Phillips. He's had such a good game. They're going to make a change. Just waiting. Some people thought it was a full-time whistle, but it's going to be Taylor who's coming on for Hutchinson. Hutchinson's been told to go off the far side of the field. Hutchinson gets a yellow card. His 5th of the season, but it doesn't count as a ban now. We've gone past the cut-off point for that. Wasting a few more seconds. Kieran McKenna in deep conversation with Darren England, the 4th official, unhappy about something or other.
Yeah, take your time, boys, take your time. You deserve it.
Good play. Good bit of gamesmanship from Hutchinson. Messing things up. As far as Villa's momentum goes, I mean, the referee will add on the time. Well, a draw at Fulham felt like a defeat. This draw will very much feel like a victory for the 10 men of Ipswich Town. If it comes, Villa still have the ball off to our right. Forward from Tielemans towards the Ipswich Town area. Flick on header, then nodded away by Johnson. This could be the full-time whistle. It is! A bonus point for Ipswich Town. That is a fabulous result for Kieran McKenna and his players. Down to 10 men for the whole of the second half, as Kieran McKenna and Unai Emery chat with one another on this near touchline. Delap with the goal for Ipswich, Watkins with the equaliser, and the 10 men managed to hold out. Alex Palmer, terrific on his league debut for his new club in goal. A lot of the congratulations and celebrations are surrounding the former West Brom man, all in yellow in front of the Holt end. Ipswich Town have drawn 1-1 with Champions League Aston Villa.
Yeah, and it's interesting just to see the reactions of some of the players at the end. I like the Emery wasn't very sort of forthcoming to Kieran McKenna. He'd sort of gone off with a big huff on, and but the face, Palmer's face there was terrific. Almost looked as if he was shocked as to sort of how well things have gone for him and his team. But that was a terrific sort of debut for him, in the Premier League. It really was, and he's made some terrific sort of contributions in this half, but the whole of the team deserve it. That was the first half. We've got some credit to come from the first half, because we had a difficult opening spell, but then we took charge of the game, which was credit, good credit to the team, for actually doing that in the first half when it was 11v11. And we were actually, I felt, sort of slightly in charge of the game when the sending off came, and then it was the sending off which turned the rest of the first half into the balance of Villa. So that first half fluctuated 3 ways. There were 3 different periods in that part of the game, and we deserved that middle part. We really did, because we had worked hard to just take hold of the game, just to change the direction of the game. But in the second half, when we know that we've got to go 45 minutes with 10 men, it's difficult. You've got to have terrific character even to take it on, let alone to do well in that sort of period. And that first goal, that was exactly what 10 men want to do. There were 3 terrific contributions in it. A fabulous crossfield ball from left to right to the feet of Amari Hutchinson. He was allowed to have a 1v1, which, is a bit disrespectful, because we know that Amari, 1-to-1, sort of 15 yards from the byline, is an immense player. He might go down the outside, or he might come on the inside and finish with a left-footed shot. On this occasion, he went down the outside, and you could see just a fraction of daylight between him and his marker. It came, he addressed, he saw it, and in goes the right-footed cross. And you could see Liam Delap. It was right in line with me. It was a lovely view. Liam Delap making a run directly to the ball, a diagonal run towards the ball, a fabulous run. He met the ball perfectly, and it was a little beautiful touch into the far corner. It was a terrific goal, and that gave us all the inspiration in the world that we needed to take on the rest of the second half, and we did do it. You know, it was really, really good. Great character, terrific. I mean, they had their moments. I mean, Marcus Rashford, he was leading the charge for me when he came on at half-time. He really sort of, you know, he had some great moments. He really did, and it was one of his great moments that got the equaliser. He's taken a free kick. He's hit a fabulous free kick, comes down off the bar. Ollie Watkins is in there like a shot, you know, and just sort of puts it in the back of the net. Then, you know, I know what it's like as a player. You've had to really dig deep to come out in the second half to sort of, you know, what's sort of, you know, come in. You know how difficult it is. You then get the spur on of the opening goal. It gives you a massive lift, and then all of a sudden they get an equalising goal, and that can absolutely deflate you, because all of a sudden you're going from a potential 3 points to a potential 1 point. Difficult moments, but we saw it out brilliantly. Not that I picked the goalkeeper out, if you like, but everybody else needs a massive pat on the back. They really do.
Yeah, they do. Calvin Phillips exceptional in midfield, but Palmer, the smile on his face as he walks past us. He obviously knew some people down in the crowd from his West Brom days. He's come across and had a big bear hug with a couple of gentlemen down in front of us. He did ever so well on his league debut for Ipswich Town. Terrific rearguard performance from the Blues here at Villa Park to pick up, despite the fact they were down to 10 men for more than half that game, a 1-1 draw. They finally moved on from 16 points in the Premier League table.